Chapter 280. Hearing Yu Yang's reply, the strong Tian called Shun Tian was not angry at all. Instead, he was still smiling. Not a bad choice. Shun Tian turned around and slowly floated towards the direction of the Yu clan castle. At the same time, he said to himself, I have seen many young people. They are all talented and arrogant. I admire the energy and arrogance of young people. However, sometimes being rational is better than being impulsive. What a pity! Another new star is about to fall. Mr. Machi, who seemed to be the oldest, calmly floated in front of Yu Yang. Even though Yu Yang had killed a Yao Guang with his flame bow and frost arrow, Mr. Machi still seemed to be very confident. He even felt that he could defeat Yu Yang. According to Shun Tian's 5 transformations power, Yu Yang, who had just become an innate, was only a level 3 innate who was close to a level 4 innate. Although Yu Yang's strength was very impressive, especially among his peers, he was an unimaginable existence. However, Machi was very confident that he could eliminate Yu Yang. On the surface, his strength was that of a level 4 innate, which seemed to be similar to Yu Yang's. However, only Machi himself knew that his true strength was not as simple as that. In order to make all his enemies underestimate him, he had hidden his true strength for the past 200 years. His true strength was actually that of a level 5 innate. Among the ranks of innate rankers, the difference in strength for every level was more than 10 times. He was 2 levels higher than Yu Yang. This gap wasn't something that could be made up for with skills, nor was it something that could be resisted with willpower. Most importantly, Machi felt that he would definitely win against the Yu clan third young master, not because of the difference in levels, but because of his abilities. After stepping into the realm of innate level 5, innate rankers started to comprehend their own unique domain power. In the domain space of an innate ranker, they were like gods and were omnipotent. Machi had never mentioned this to anyone. However, he had already comprehended domain power 5 years ago and had his own small domain space. In other words, as long as the Yu clan's third young master entered his domain space, he could easily kill the Yu clan's third young master on the spot, because he was the god of his own domain. Not to mention a level 3 innate, even a level 4 innate would be instantly killed by a level 5 innate's domain of power. Machi, who had been hiding his strength for a long time, decided to challenge Shun Tian in the future. Because it was still too early to challenge the powerful Shun Tian, he had to defeat more strong enemies to improve himself in order to shake Shun Tian's position. Machi felt that the Yu clan's third young master was actually a very good stepping stone. As long as he could defeat this kind of young man, he believed that he would be able to improve a lot. As for Yao Guang and Kai Yang, Machi didn't care about their lives at all. He pretended to be angry for Shun Tian to see. Yao Guang and Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears were only fit to be his lackeys. Their only purpose was to use their lives to test the Yu clan's third young master's true strength and give their companions an excuse to take revenge. Although Ji Zun, Elder Nangong and the other rankers who were exploring the 10th floor of Tong Tian Tower might not necessarily return to the Soaring Dragon continent, there were still Sky Execution, Sky Law and the others from the Demonic Palace. Those fellows had always been neither friend nor foe, they must not be given any excuse to turn against them. If you don't mind, let's fight in another place like the dual battlefield. I hope to have a real battle with you outside of the restrictions of the Innate Alliance Treaty. Machi was also a cautious person. He had always lived under Shun Tian's shadow, even secretly imitating the powerful Shun Tian's every word and action. He always wanted to replace Shun Tian. He had the strength to easily defeat Yu Yang, but he was still worried that he would be injured by Shun Tian's desperate counterattack. He might even let Shun Tian discover that he was a level 5 innate. Hence, he slyly made a request to fight in the dual battlefield. Yu Yang was speechless. Even if this fellow thought that he was very smart, he shouldn't treat others like fools, right? Yu Yang was 100% sure that this fellow was up to no good. He definitely didn't want to invite him to the dual battlefield to fight, and he definitely didn't care about the innate alliance contract. He wanted to play some dirty tricks. As for Machi's dirty tricks, Yu Yang still couldn't guess. He felt that it might be related to this fellow's beast or inherent skill. Once he entered the dual battlefield, he would fall into Machi's control and become his prey. Very good. Yu Yang suddenly agreed unexpectedly, a bright smile appearing on his face. He took out a purplish-black magic ball that could enter the dual battlefield. It was a magic ball used by the demon abyss rankers, specially made by the old cunning fox. He smashed it on the ground between him and Machi, forming a purplish-black pillar of light that engulfed both him and Machi, teleporting both of them away. At this moment, a cold smile appeared on Machi's lips. It didn't matter whose dual battlefield it was, as long as he could hide his domain of strength from Shun Tian, it would be fine. As long as his domain of strength was released, this brat would definitely die. Any flame bow or ice arrow would be useless. At the moment when he teleported, he didn't forget to summon his beast to kill Yu Yang's companions. On the surface, he was also helping Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears so that he would be grateful to him in the future. Rumble, a 30-meter-tall rock giant with a body no different from a small hill, crawled out from the ground. This rock giant was a gold-ranked level 9. Among all the beasts in the Tong Tian Tower 5th floor and below, it was an unrivaled existence. It was a gold-ranked level 9 king beast, the King of Black Light. Its body was 30 meters tall, and its entire body was covered with meteorite obsidian that was harder than metal. Its 2 giant spirit hammer-like fists and its sinister head were covered with black gold barbs, causing people to feel fear just by looking at it. Even if it was a giant dragon, if it met this King of Blacklight, it would only end up being defeated. This was because the King of Blacklight's defense was extremely strong, and it was also immune to fire. It also possessed skills such as earth-shattering and stone powder star. It could fight at both long and short range, and was an existence that even innate level 2 rankers and below would have a headache against. When Machi floated to the ground just now, he had secretly summoned the King of Blacklight and used his teleportation inherent skill to secretly move the King of Blacklight underground. When he and Yu Yang entered the dimension of duel, he then ordered the King of Blacklight to drill out of the ground and attack all enemies indiscriminately, flattening everything on the battlefield. Oh my God! When Fatty Hai saw this, he was so scared that he started crying out loud. The gold-ranked level 6 Thunder Mammoth was already terrifying enough, but now there was a 30-meter-tall gold-ranked level 9 rock giant, the King of Blacklight. How could anyone survive this? Compared to the King of Blacklight, the gold mammoth and one-eyed giant were like children's toys, incomparably small. Lin Lei was so scared that his entire body was trembling. Lin Miao, who was beside him, was so scared that his eyes rolled back and he fainted. Such a strong beast, could they still fight? Hui Tai Lang felt that it was time for him to make a move. Although this King of Blacklight that was covered in rocks didn't seem to be very tasty, the magic core should still be very tasty. Just as he jumped up, a girl suddenly jumped down from the horse carriage. She directly stepped on Hui Tai Lang's head and leapt out. Just like a little kid who had seen her favorite toy, she flew towards the 30-meter-tall King of Blacklight. She was the thorny flower demoness who had eaten Duan Mu, Lu He and the other innates, Dream Eater, Zidiao, 9-headed Goblin Marshal and the rest of the Eastern Goblin tribe, and had yet to evolve into a golden-crowned thorny flower queen. Of course, because of the time constraint, she had not digested all the food. Otherwise, she would probably have no problem evolving into a golden-crowned thorny flower queen. This girl was doted on by its master. Hui Tai Lang decided not to fight with her for the King of Blacklight. Anyway, that rock giant was a little hard to chew. When Hui Tai Lang saw a little gold beast jumping out of the horse carriage and charging towards the golden one-eyed giant, he immediately became angry. Good heavens, when its master was here, they all pretended to be obedient children. Once its master left, they would immediately steal the kill. Hui Tai Lang did not care about the rules of the Jianghu, brotherhood and whatnot. Anyway, whoever stole the kill would have the ability. On this side, the Thorny Flower Demoness, the Gold Beast and Hui Tai Lang rushed out to steal the kill. On the other side, Yi Kong, Fatty Hai and the Li brothers hurriedly ran back. Otherwise, they would be trampled into meat paste by the King of Black Light. The Gold Mammoth was also scared and tried to dodge. But before it could retreat, it was grabbed by the King of Black Light and thrown to one side. The one-eyed giant was sent flying dozens of meters away by the King of Black Light's kick, while the two simple-minded laborers, Megatron and Optimus Prime, were about to move the walking hill away when they were smashed into the ground by the King of Black Light's two heavy punches. The Gold Mammoth, One-Eyed Giant and the two laborers were not even able to withstand a single move from the King of Black Light. Fatty Hai was so scared that his legs were trembling and his lips were trembling. He felt that even if he transformed, he would probably be slapped away by the King of Black Light. "I'll transform and fight it to the death. The three of you, quickly pull the carriage and retreat. We can't beat this guy, only that brat Yu Yang can." Although Fatty Hai was scared, he did not lose his sense of brotherhood. He ran back to the carriage and stopped, not abandoning his companions and running away. "Nonsense, you're just courting death if you go up." Yi Kong saw that his Herculean rhinoceros beetle was also knocked to the ground by the King of Black Light. He was sweating profusely. In the sky, a meteor fell, smashing heavily on the King of Black Light's head. With a loud rumble, the fragments of the meteor splashed into a rain of fire. However, the King of Black Light was not injured at all. Prince of Tianluo and Xue Tanlang, who were flying over, were dumbfounded. Even a meteor couldn't move it? Roar! The King of Black Light casually picked up a 10,000-kilogram boulder from the ground and threw it towards Prince of Tianluo and Xue Tanlang. Its speed and power were not inferior to the previous meteor. Prince of Tianluo and Xue Tanlang hurriedly separated in the air, fleeing in different directions. Far away, the Yu clan village ruins were hit by the boulder. With a loud rumble, the whole ground trembled. It was even scarier than an earthquake. Kai Yang of the Seven Great Bears saw that the Yu clan third young master had left and immediately felt the pressure in his heart lessen. He laughed out loud and flew into the sky. His hands started to accumulate the energy of an innate level 2, ready to deal a fatal blow to Princess Sisai. Although the situation on their side was good, the strongest innate ranker, Lord Shun Tian, was frowning. It was as if he did not have an optimistic attitude towards the situation. It was very puzzling. Even though Yu Yang had left, he still felt that the biggest threat in his heart was not completely eliminated. There was definitely a terrifying enemy in the carriage. Machi had used a scheme to invite Yu Yang into the dimension of Death Duel to fight to the death. This seemingly smart move was actually a stupid move that brought about his own destruction. Yu clan's third young master was definitely not a fool. He would definitely not abandon his companions and fight to the death against Machi alone. If he did this, it meant that he had seen through Machi's scheme and was confident of winning. At the same time, he must have a backup plan to deal with Machi, the King of Black Light. Shun Tian, who was floating above the Yu clan castle, frowned deeply. What method would the Yu clan's third young master have to deal with Machi? What kind of powerful backup plan would he have to deal with the King of Black Light? Below, the King of Black Light was invincible. None of the beasts could withstand a single move from it. All the beasts who saw it scrambled to avoid it. Except for an innocent girl wearing a flower crown on her head. Shun Tian was thinking just now and did not notice her existence. Now that he saw her, his eyes immediately widened and a shocked expression appeared on his face for the first time. Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen? The Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen that had disappeared for 3,000 years had appeared again. Chapter 281. Shun Tian focused his attention and looked again. He realized that this girl who was wearing a flower crown hadn't reached the level of a golden crown thorny flower queen. She was still a thorny flower demoness. But her potential, even an innate rancor like Shun Tian was jealous of her. Such a terrifying humanoid weapon was not in his hands. Even though Shun Tian had the 5 holy beasts in his hands, it was difficult for him to suppress the greed in his heart. Especially when he saw the thorny flower demoness eyes filled with wisdom and emotions, which were almost human-like. Shun Tian's heart sank. He knew that it was a sign that his beast was about to level up to become a holy beast. Letting this thorny flower demoness grow to become a golden crown thorny flower queen and a holy beast was an extremely unwise move. Shun Tian's killing intent rose. A terrifying killing intent surged in his heart like a mountain torrent. He raised his hand, preparing to kill the thorny flower demoness in one hit while she was still in her growth stage. Wasn't this the noble Ziwei Emperor's throne? Lord Shun Tian, the Emperor of the 14 stars of the innate alliance, why did he come to the poor and remote soaring dragon continent? They seem to be unfriendly. Could it be that they are going to stretch out their emperor's hand and have 1,000 heads fall to the ground? Suddenly, from behind Shun Tian, there was an extremely enchanting and seductive voice. The impatience Tian Fa, with a burst of fragrant wind, appeared in the sky higher than Shun Tian. So it's the great sky demoness. You must be joking. Everyone in the innate alliance knows that I'm only the emperor star and I'm not the real emperor. Shun Tian doesn't dare to call himself the emperor. Ziwei 14 stars is just a joke. It wasn't created by me, Shun Tian. Today, I came here with my friends Yao Guang and Kai Yang to congratulate them. The new clan master of the Yu clan, Yu Qiu, is willing to accept his son as Tian Quan's disciple. I heard that Yu Qiu's son is extremely talented, becoming a level 6 elder at the age of 21. I was so happy to hear that the younger generation is so talented. That's why I came here from the 6th floor of Tong Tian. When Shun Tian saw impatience appear, the light in his eyes immediately changed. His killing intent was like snow melting in the spring sun, completely disappearing without a trace and turning into a smile. As he explained with a smile, he turned around and greeted the impatience as an innate master. What a coincidence! May I know why the great sky demoness is here? By now, even if Shun Tian was an idiot, he would still be able to react. Why did Yu Yang, that brat, have the guts to duel with Machi? The reason was that the great sky demoness Tian Fa had come. Although Shun Tian didn't participate in the innate rancor battle where Yu Yang killed Tu Qing, he had heard about the situation that day. It was said that Sky Law was extremely biased towards that handsome Yu clan's 3rd young master. She protected him in all aspects. She even used her inherent skill to trigger his hidden strength in front of the 1,000 Goblins sect leader, allowing the Yu clan's 3rd young master to kill Tu Qing and Quang Zhan from the 1,000 Goblins sect. The 1,000 Goblins sect leader was extremely furious, but he was afraid of Sky Law and Night Empress joining hands, so he did not explode. However, from the looks of it, this Yu clan's 3rd young master was most likely Tian Fa's lover. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so protective of him. Although Shun Tian was the emperor throne of Ziwei and one of the few decision-makers in the innate alliance, he was even more patient and cautious than the 1,000 Goblins sect leader. He always kept a low profile and kept a low profile. He would never give anyone an excuse to retaliate. In the innate alliance, Ji Zun reigned supreme. She was an existence that no one could surpass and shake. The title of supremacy represented a supreme symbol. Only the strongest could be called a supreme being. Human Ji Zun was passionate about training. She usually didn't care about the innate alliance's matters. Below the supreme martial artist were the innate realm guide, Elder Nan Gong, Tian Luo Kingdom's Night Empress, demonic palaces Tian Zhu and Tian Fa, the Thousand Goblins sect leader, the 4 major sects sect leaders and the great emperor of Z-Wei. These 10 people were the true decision-makers of the innate alliance. The Green Summit sect leader Duan Mu Long Qing, the vice sect leader Machi Su Ling, and the 3 great kingdoms' heavenly imperial guardians were just attendants. If it wasn't related to the kingdom's matters, they didn't have the power to make decisions. The third-level innate rankers like Yao Guang and Kai Yang of the 7 Great Northern Dipper, Tu Qing and Kuang Zhan of the Thousand Goblins sect didn't even have the right to attend meetings. Shun Tian's goal was to climb to the supreme position of Ji Zun. He would never start a war with any innate ranker of the same level as him. This was because it would damage his own strength and give others an opportunity to take advantage of him. Especially this terrifying Tian Fa Demonis, her strength couldn't be underestimated. Although Shun Tian thought highly of himself, he wouldn't look down on Tian Fa. Furthermore, under the double threat of the Thousand Goblins sect leader and the strongest sky demon, Tian Zhu, he wouldn't be hot-headed enough to start a war with her. To achieve great things, one must conceal one's strength and bide one's time, endure patiently and be patient. Shun Tian wouldn't fall for Tian Fa's provocation so easily. He even asked impatience with a smile, as if he didn't know that she was here for Yu Yang. I don't have a family, I don't have a place to stay, and I wander the world, unlike you, the Emperor Throne of Z-Wei, who has your own heavenly Emperor Palace in the 7th floor of Tong Tian Tower. It's not strange that I came to the Yu Clan Castle because I know a little friend here. I came to see if he was bullied. Impatience replied indifferently and asked again, I didn't hear wrongly. Didn't Yu Qiu die? How did he come back to life? I didn't expect Tian Fa to be so concerned about worldly affairs. Yu Qiu was defeated and captured. He was later ransomed by an infatuated girl and went into exile in the demon abyss. He received help from Tian Quan of the 7 Great Bears and returned to the Yu clan. The Yu clan was attacked by the Eastern Goblin tribe and was in danger. Yu Qiu stepped forward bravely and was determined to revive the Yu clan. His heart was praiseworthy. I heard that his son was extremely intelligent and talented. Tian Quan invited me, so I came to congratulate Tian Quan for accepting a disciple. Shun Tian brushed off this matter completely. He almost said that he was just a passerby. Tian Quan accepting a disciple? Yu Qiu's son? Impatience laughed. Is Yu Qiu's son called Yu Yang? Yes. Shun Tian nodded. If I remember correctly, Elder Nan Gong came to welcome Yu Yang into the innate alliance not long ago. Tian Quan of the 7 Great Bears was only innate level 2. How could he dare to accept an innate as his disciple? Isn't this the biggest joke in the world? Impatience laughed even more enchantingly. Within her laughter, there was a hidden killing intent. Yu Qiu's son Yu Yang is an innate? Shun Tian's ability to act dumb was definitely at the innate level. That brat is my little lover. I know how many hairs he has. How could I not know that he is an innate? Impatience asked back. The great emperor of Z-Wei doesn't know that Yu Qiu's son Yu Yang is an innate? That day when Yu Yang killed Tu Qing and Kuang Zhan from the Thousand Goblins sect, more than 10 innates witnessed the whole process. Ji Zun said that she was Yu Yang's introducer. She also said that Yu Yang has great potential and that no one should find an excuse to attack him. The great emperor of Z-Wei really doesn't know? I only heard that Yu Qiu's son is a level 6 elder. Can he really become an innate at the age of 20? Shun Tian acted as if he had never seen Yu Yang before. You can ask him how he became an innate, it's useless to ask me. Oh right, what's going on with this Yao Guang on the ground? Who is so daring to kill him in front of you, the great emperor of Z-Wei? Impatience pointed at Yao Guang's corpse and asked. A very strange young man. His strength is not bad. He is an innate, but I have never seen him in the innate alliance. Shun Tian answered. It seems that the Yuchio's son that Lord Shun Tian knew and the Yuchio's son that I know are not the same person. Impatience smiled and said, among them, there must be a fake one. I wonder if the Yuchio's son that Lord Shun Tian supported is real or fake. The real can't be fake, the fake can't be real. Shun Tian laughed and answered tactfully. What's going on down there? Yao Guang of the 7 Great Bears died tragically, and Kai Yang is also in a bad situation. As the great emperor of Ziwei, aren't you going to help? Impatience's eyes were filled with killing intent. The smile on her beautiful face was even sweeter. It's not appropriate for innate to interfere in the soaring dragon's worldly affairs. Kai Yang is only avenging Yao Guang, I can't stop him. Otherwise, I would advise him. Shun Tian was also full of smiles. Lord Shun Tian means that you will respect the innate alliance and won't bully those kids on the ground? Impatience asked. If they don't attack me, an innate. Shun Tian smiled slightly. What about that strange young man you said? Impatience asked again. He went to the dimension of duel with Mr. Machi Su Ling. There seems to be a feud between them. I can't stop him. When Shun Tian said this, he paid special attention to Impatience's eyes. If her expression changed when she heard this, then Machi Su Ling might be able to defeat Yu Yang. However, when Shun Tian saw the contempt in Impatience's eyes, he felt a chill in his heart. It seemed that Machi Su Ling was too smart for his own good. His action of competing with Yu Yang in the dimension of duel had already destined him to die tragically. To be able to gain the recognition of Ji Zun, Night Empress, Sky Law and Elder Nangong, and to be able to make the 1,000 Goblins sect leader fear Yu Yang, this brat was indeed not simple. However, he wasn't an arrogant idiot like Machi Su Ling. No matter how talented this brat was, no matter how fast he improved, it was still too early for him to challenge him in 100 years. Other than Ji Zun, Night Empress and that terrifying sky execution, Shun Tian, as the Emperor of Ziwei, was confident that he could win against Elder Nangong, the 1,000 Goblins sect leader, and even this Sky Law in front of him. Of course, his goal was to become Ji Zun, so he wouldn't easily reveal his true strength. As for helping Yu Qiu from the Yu clan, fighting against an innate of the same level would be the stupidest move. Shun Tian would definitely not do that. Unless Sky Law was heavily injured, or if there were 2 other innate rankers of the same level, such as the 1,000 Goblins sect leader, Floating Mist sect leader Bai Tsang Yuan and Western Lion Pagoda leader Li Chong Shao working together, he would definitely win. Only then would he attack this Sky Demoness Sky Law. For a Sky Demoness like Sky Law, even if there were 4 innate rankers of the same level attacking her, they would still need to go all out to kill her. Before Yu Yang could threaten his position, Shun Tian wouldn't fall out with Sky Law for a junior. That brat was Sky Law's lover. The hatred of killing one's lover was the same as the hatred of killing one's father or stealing one's wife. What's more, Yu Yang's introducer was Ji Zun. Impatience also knew that she wouldn't be able to kill this great emperor of Ziwei by herself. This fellow was even more patient than the 1,000 Goblins sect leader. He was careful and meticulous in his actions. Forcing a battle would only result in a stalemate. Even if they fought for a few days, they might not be able to determine the winner. Impatience didn't have the patience to waste time with him. She was only here to support that brat Yu Yang, so that he wouldn't be attacked by Shun Tian's shameless sneak attacks. Of course, if Shun Tian had attacked Yu Yang just now, then Impatience wouldn't let it go easily. She would definitely attack him. However, she didn't have any excuse now, so Impatience could only suppress her killing intent for now. Below, Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears who had leveled up to innate level 2 was indeed impressive. Princess Sisai couldn't fight, so she could only hide inside her shield and wait for an opportunity. Kai Yang's energy shockwave even forced the King of Black Light to retreat a few steps. Of course, it could also be because of the Thorny Flower Demoness. because the thorny flower demoness had formed a 30-meter-tall thorny flower demon with countless thorny flower vines, preparing to swallow the king of Black Light whole. Facing this thorny flower demon, the king of Black Light no longer had the arrogance of defeating his opponent with a single move. He retreated step by step, as if he was afraid. In the dimension of Death Duel, Machi Su Ling was looking for Yu Yang. Originally, in the dimension of Death Duel, if one side didn't die, the other side would definitely not be able to leave. However, the strange thing was that Yu Yang, who had teleported together with Machi Su Ling, had disappeared. Where did he go? Did he become invisible? Or did he escape? Chapter 282. The moment Machi Su Ling entered the dimension of Duel, he immediately summoned his platinum grimoire and raised his protective shield. At the same time, he unsealed his innate strength and leveled up to innate level 3. When he finished his preparations and looked for Yu Yang, he discovered that the brat had disappeared. This is absolutely impossible. How could the dimension of Duel ignore the rules and escape? At first, Machi Su Ling thought that Yu Yang was just invisible. He summoned his sand beast Storm King, a gold-ranked level 8 element-type beast. It did not have a physical body, but its power was enough to destroy an entire city. Its only weakness was that it was afraid of water. However, Machi Su Ling discovered that in this dimension of Duel, there was only a small volcano and hard ground. There was no water source at all. The sand beast Storm King was even more powerful with the help of the lava's heat. He summoned his sand beast without hesitation and ordered it to find Yu Yang, who was invisible. However, after a minute, the sand beast that filled the entire dimension of Duel did not find Yu Yang. Machi Su Ling was completely dumbfounded. According to the rules, he could not leave without killing the enemy. This was like a bolt from the blue. If he could not find Yu Yang and kill him, wouldn't he have to stay here forever? Machi Su Ling felt a sense of fear and almost went crazy. The current Yu Yang, to be precise, had not left the dimension of Duel. He had only arrived at a place that Machi Su Ling would never have thought of. Black hole sealed space. When Yu Yang was teleported into the dimension of Duel, he felt that the enemy might be up to no good, so he decided to strike first. When Machi Su Ling was happily unsealing his innate strength using his grimoire, he dripped his blood on the black jade necklace and channeled his innate qi. Previously, he had a feeling that he could re-enter the black hole sealed space to see Queen Vivian Li. It was just that he could not hide this in front of the girls. Hence, when Yu Yang entered the dimension of Duel, he immediately went to see Queen Vivian Li without the girls knowing. As for Machi Su Ling, in Yu Yang's eyes, he was a dead man. Of course the dead could keep secrets. If this was the real dimension of Duel, Yu Yang's actions might not have succeeded. However, this was a replica of the dimension of Duel created by the old fox. It was the dimension of Duel that Yu Yang had entered to kill the magma wyvern. It was the old fox's proudest work. Although it was his second time entering the black hole sealed space, Yu Yang's body, which had been remolded by the innate qi and nirvana flame countless times, had already adapted to the destructive power of the black hole sealed space. He faintly felt that this kind of destructive power was very similar to the world exterminating wheel's destructive power. Both of them were different, but they had the same effect. It was just that the black hole space's destructive power was much stronger, and it was boundless. It was not like the world exterminating wheel, which was only an energy attack weapon. Yu Yang had a thought in his mind. If the sealing power of this black hole space was created by ancient runes or primordial runes, then wouldn't he be able to use this black hole space as his own once he completely grasped the power of the runes? Queen Vivian Li could be released, and the strong enemies that he caught in the future could also be thrown in here and let them stay in the black hole prison for the rest of their lives. Being imprisoned in the black hole sealed space was definitely terrifying. Without a body, there was no way to escape. Even someone as strong as Queen Vivian Li was unable to escape even after sleeping for 10,000 years. This showed how powerful it was. In the depths of the black hole-sealed space, Yu Yang saw the crystal coffin and Queen Vivian Li that he had not seen for more than a year. She was still in a deep sleep, her face was pale and her vitality was greatly damaged. She was no different from when Yu Yang left. Little Wen Li floated out from Yu Yang's body and laid on top of the crystal coffin as she looked at Queen Vivian Li. Her big eyes were filled with tears. Yu Yang caressed her little head. "It's all right, Mummy will definitely get better." And Little Wen Li nodded her head obediently. Compared to when she was just born, she was much more sensible now. After living and fighting together with Yu Yang for more than a year, her emotions and intelligence had grown rapidly. In the beginning, other than knowing how to fight, her thoughts and intelligence could not be compared to Yu Bing, that little girl. But now, her intelligence had even surpassed Yu Bing. Although she could not speak, her emotions and thoughts were no different from a human's. She had long surpassed the standard of a holy beast that was close to a human's intelligence. Sometimes, Yu Yang also found it strange that she did not level up to become a holy beast. But for this precious baby of his, he felt that it was better to let nature take its course. Maybe Little Wen Li was really a divine beast, because she was born with a diamond grimoire. Yu Yang, who had broken through the 5th level of innate invisible sword chi and mastered some heaven runes and ancient runes, was no longer the same as before. He no longer had to worry that Queen Vivian Li would suck his innate chi dry the moment she woke up. He bit his finger. He used his blood to draw the ancient runes on the crystal coffin, the spring of spirit chi. Then, on top of the ancient runes, he continued to inject innate chi. Light flashed, and the innate chi, under the support of the ancient runes, flowed continuously into the crystal coffin, into Empress Fei Wen Li's body. After about a minute, Queen Vivian Li's complexion quickly improved under the nourishment of the innate chi. From pale white it gradually became rosy. She woke up from her dream and opened her eyes. Suddenly, she saw Yu Yang and Little Wen Li looking at her with concern from outside the crystal coffin. She was so moved that tears were about to overflow. Ignoring the fact that her body was still weak, she opened the coffin and hugged Little Wen Li, who had jumped into her arms. Her cherry lips kissed her precious daughter continuously. She then raised Little Wen Li up high and cheered, "My baby has grown up. Heavens, how many years have I been asleep? 3 years or 5 years? Be good, don't cry. Ah, my head hurts so much. Little Yu Yang, how many years have I been asleep?" "Only 1 year, Your Majesty." Yu Yang pretended to be courteous on purpose. If he wasn't completely naked, his actions could be more elegant. Unfortunately, this was a space sealed by a black hole. Nothing could be brought in. Anything that could be brought in would be swallowed by the black hole and turned into nothingness. When Queen Vivian Li heard this, she was a little incredulous at first. Then, she was overjoyed. She stretched out 2 of her 6 lotus-like arms and hugged Yu Yang. She also kissed him happily. "You're really a lovable little fellow. I didn't expect you to improve so much in just a year. Oh, let me take a closer look. Heavens, I can't believe my eyes. Isn't your improvement too fast? What kind of mysterious technique are you practicing? My head is very dizzy. Please give me some of your pure true chi first." "Thank you." Perhaps because her body urgently needed the nourishment of innate true chi, Queen Vivian Li couldn't care less about Little Wen Li, who was looking at them curiously. She kissed Yu Yang. Through his mouth, she sucked the true chi in his body to her heart's content. If Yu Yang hadn't broken through the 5th level of the innate invisible sword chi, she would have sucked him dry. That kind of ecstasy and suffocating feeling was something that Yu Yang would never forget. He felt that Queen Vivian Li, who was in his arms, had gradually become warm under the nourishment of his innate true chi. Her skin had also gradually become more solid and had the smooth touch of a human's body. Of course, in order to fully recover, Yu Yang estimated that even if he gave her innate true qi 1,000 times, it wouldn't be enough. Right now, he was just replenishing the energy that she urgently needed. Empress Fei Wenli kissed Yu Yang for a full 3 minutes. After her cherry lips parted, she moaned in an extremely comfortable and refreshed mood. Her voice was extremely flirtatious and seductive. Hearing it, Yu Yang's lower body became restless. Before Yu Yang could regain his breath, little Wenli had already wrapped her arms around his neck like an octopus. She moved her mouth closer and imitated Queen Vivian Li's actions just now. Pa pa pa, she kissed Yu Yang's lips a few times in a row, unwilling to let go. She didn't know how to kiss, but she understood that kissing like this was a way to express affection. All right. Yu Yang hurriedly comforted his precious daughter. He especially kissed little Wenli's smooth forehead, expressing that he had kissed her a lot. Ah! Little Wenli really enjoyed it. She felt that she was even more pampered than her mother. Tell me everything that happened in the past year. Fei Wenli was especially curious about Yu Yang. She really wanted to know how he had spent the past year. Speaking of it, it's as long as a piece of cloth. Of course, Yu Yang wouldn't tell her everything. He only picked out the important ones that he wanted Fei Wenli to explain. Even so, he estimated that he had to speak for half an hour before he could barely tell her all the major events that happened in the past year. In the end, he asked Queen Vivian Li about the holy beasts, divine beasts and the Eastern Goblin tribe, Ji Zun and the Dragon Emperor, the Great Golden-Winged Peng, and so on. Of course, he also asked about the parts that he didn't understand about the heaven runes and ancient runes. In short, if there was anything that Yu Yang didn't understand, he would ask this Queen Vivian Li, who had been asleep for 10,000 years. He knew that with her experience 10,000 years ago, she would definitely have a better answer. Queen Vivian Li lightly carried little Wenli and sat on the crystal coffin. She beckoned Yu Yang to sit beside her. She stretched out a hand and caressed the top of Yu Yang's head. She smiled and said, "It's been hard on you, little Yu Yang. I didn't have time to tell you a lot of things before, so you suffered a lot. Now I'll tell you everything I know. Maybe after 10,000 years, humans and other races had changed a lot, but 10,000 years ago, humans were indeed the strongest. As for holy beasts, there were a lot of them in the past, and there were even a lot of divine beasts. If you went to the higher levels of Tong Tian Tower, you would probably find that not only humans were strong, there were also beasts and all kinds of living beings. They were all extremely strong. The Eastern Goblin tribe had always been strong. They were a fallen branch of the Eastern Celestial tribe. They pursued power and didn't cultivate their temperament. They were in conflict with the legendary Eastern Celestial tribe, so they were expelled. I've never heard of the Dragon Emperor. Maybe it's a new Goblin Emperor that was promoted in 10,000 years. As for the Great Golden-Winged Peng, it's a legendary Eastern Celestial tribe. Its power is indescribable. It's said that it's an existence that surpasses the war god. I've only heard of it and have never seen it before. I think that unless you can surpass the heaven realm and enter a higher world, you won't meet it. As for the runes, I don't know much, I only know a little. Anyone can use the heaven runes, but not the ancient runes. It has special requirements, and everyone has different adaptations. A human like you, who can adapt to all the ancient runes, is an anomaly. No one can be like you. Or, you must know that the runes that are too far away are all unique. Empress Fei Wenli revealed a secret within a secret. What? Yu Yang didn't understand. What I mean is, if you have an ancient rune, then no one else in this world can have the same one. Your world exterminating wheel has an ancient rune in its center, so no one else can have the same world exterminating wheel. Even if they can use it, the world exterminating wheel wouldn't have an ancient rune in its center. In other words, if you see another ancient rune, you better snatch it away and make it yours. This is because not only is the ancient rune extremely powerful, it's also unique. If you have it, then no one else will ever be able to get it, unless they snatch it from you. When Queen Vivian Li said this, Yu Yang immediately became a howling bandit. That's great. What Yu Yang liked was his only treasure. Let's talk about summoning grimoires. You definitely don't know why all the innate rankers don't study space storage rings. Do you know why beasts can be recalled into the grimoire? Little Yu Yang, when you know the true use of summoning grimoires, you will know how amazing they are. Fei Wenli smiled mysteriously, making Yu Yang's curiosity almost explode. Next, what kind of secret would Fei Wenli reveal? Chapter 283. The Secret of the Summoning Grimoire? Yu Yang obviously knew that the summoning grimoire was very mysterious. For example, where did it come from? Who created these summoning grimoires? Was it a human or a god? Why could beasts be recalled into the grimoire? Barbarian cow Shadow Man could wear golden bells, armlets and weapons. Little Wenli and Bloody Queen Red could even move into the divine grimoire. Why could the summoning grimoire unlock its master's inherent skill? Why would there be a guardian beast that was immortal and indestructible? Why could it level up through battle points? There were countless questions, but Yu Yang had never carefully examined them. The reason was that no one knew the answer. Until now, when Queen Vivian Li decided to reveal this secret to him, he realized how close he was to the truth. The summoning grimoire has countless secrets, I can't grasp them all. Queen Vivian Li lightly hugged little Wenli and stared at Yu Yang. As far as I know, the summoning grimoire, ancient runes and immemorial runes all originated from ancient times. The relationship between the grimoire and runes is very close. It is said that they were created by the gods of the immemorial era. The summoning grimoire is a heavenly book that allows people to become stronger, a ladder that allows people to ascend to heaven realm. Does it have a number? Yu Yang wanted to know how many there were and whether it was endless. Yes. Queen Vivian Li nodded affirmatively. I haven't read the records, so I'm not 100% sure. I only heard that in the entire Tong Tian Tower, including Heaven Realm and Outer Realm, there are only 10,000 bronze grimoires, 5,000 silver grimoires, 1,000 gold grimoires, 500 platinum grimoires, and 100 diamond grimoires. This quota is fixed. If you have a diamond grimoire, then there are only 99 slots left. If the 100 slots are filled, then even if you have reached the required points, you won't be able to level up, unless you kill a diamond grimoire owner and obtain the required quota. Of course, not everyone can level up a diamond grimoire. It's different from platinum grimoires and below. It can't be leveled up just by accumulating battle points. It requires many special conditions, one of which is bloodline. So it's like this. Yu Yang suddenly understood. No wonder all the innate rankers he had seen so far were using platinum grimoires and no one was using diamond grimoires. According to the data provided by Queen Vivian Li, Yu Yang could do some calculations. Actually, the number of grimoires that warriors in the Soaring Dragon continent had was pitifully small. Only the 4 great clans, the 4 great sects, the 3 kingdoms' royal families and a few outstanding geniuses had summoning grimoires. There were probably less than 200 bronze grimoires, which was only 1% of the total number of bronze grimoires. The number of silver, gold and platinum grimoires was even less. The Demon Abyss was slightly stronger than the Soaring Dragon continent, but it did not have an overwhelming advantage. Yu Yang reckoned that the Demon Abyss was not much better than the Soaring Dragon continent. Just from the number of grimoires they had, it could be seen that the Soaring Dragon continent's strength was actually very, very weak. He reckoned that the truly powerful one would be the legendary Heaven Realm. As for the Eastern Goblin tribe and the Demon Abyss, they were only slightly better than the Soaring Dragon continent. They were too far away from the unexplored Heaven Realm. However, the thing that Yu Yang was most curious about was his own divine grimoire. What was going on with the divine grimoire? Yu Yang hesitated for a while and asked Queen Vivian Li this question. Queen Vivian Li did not expect Yu Yang to have a divine grimoire. She smiled and said, "Divine grimoires are divided into holy grimoires and divine grimoires. The two have similar names and appearance, but their potential and power are completely different. There are a total of 100 holy grimoires, but only 10 divine grimoires. No matter if it's a holy grimoire or a divine grimoire, they are both unique existences with unique powers. A holy grimoire can never be upgraded to a divine grimoire, but a diamond grimoire can be upgraded to a holy grimoire. As long as the owner of the diamond grimoire kills the owner of the holy grimoire and snatches the holy grimoire, the two grimoires can be merged together, and a new holy grimoire will be born. A divine grimoire cannot be upgraded by any other grimoire. In theory, other than gods, it cannot be owned by any low-level lifeforms. It is said that it can be snatched. As long as one is strong enough to kill a god, then one can snatch the divine grimoire from the god's hands. Kill a god and snatch their divine grimoire? Do gods really exist? Yu Yang sweated profusely as he listened. Currently, no one has seen a god, no one can prove the existence of a god. However, in the legends of the ancient times, a god was once killed by a human warrior. He fell from a higher world in the heaven realm and fell on the soaring dragon continent. The human warriors built a huge sealed god palace at the place where the god fell. However, the sealed god palace turned into ruins during the 100-Clan War. Later on, people called the ruins God's ruins. When Fei Wenli said this, Yu Yang sweated even more profusely. So this was the truth behind the God's ruins. No wonder it was the most mysterious place other than Tong Tian Tower. It was actually a place where a god was sealed. Only, did gods really exist? Yu Yang couldn't say for sure. Perhaps gods were stronger innate rankers. The image of the heavenly sword goddess and the old Taoist priest flashed in Yu Yang's mind. The heavenly sword goddess could destroy heaven and earth with a single move. No matter how powerful the innate rankers that Yu Yang had seen were, compared to her, they were as insignificant as ants. If the heavenly sword goddess could appear in this world, then would she be considered a god-level existence? There was also the old Taoist priest. Perhaps that old fellow was an even more powerful existence? As for gods, Yu Yang didn't think about it anymore. Right now, he hadn't reached that realm, so it was useless to think about it. The godly grimoire is only limited to legends. I have never seen it before, so I don't know much about the godly grimoire. I only know that it exists. However, if you ask about the holy grimoire, the one in my hands is the holy grimoire. Queen Vivian Li lightly patted the crystal coffin and smiled sweetly at Yu Yang. What special power does your holy grimoire have? Yu Yang had already guessed that her grimoire was the holy grimoire. He only asked this because he wanted to compare it with his divine grimoire. Yu Yang strongly suspected that the divine grimoire in his hands was the legendary godly grimoire. He wanted to compare it with Queen Vivian Li's holy grimoire secretly. If the two grimoires were different, then his might be the godly grimoire. With the godly grimoire in hand, I have beauties. Yu Yang felt that his blissful sexual life was very promising. Queen Vivian Li didn't know that this brat also had a divine grimoire. She only thought that he was curious and introduced it to him. The more Yu Yang heard, the happier he became. This was because he realized that his divine grimoire was really different from Queen Vivian Li's holy grimoire. The possibility of it being the godly grimoire was very high. Of course, before he confirmed it, he decided not to tell her about his divine grimoire. He would first study it in secret. Queen Vivian Li was afraid that if she said too much, it would affect Yu Yang's confidence. Hence, she didn't discuss this topic too much. She combined Yu Yang's actual situation and told him the secrets of the bronze, silver, gold and platinum grimoires. People who own a grimoire actually have a storage space. No, it should be a world. The higher the level of the grimoire, the more complete the world inside is. The bronze grimoire only has a very small space, only void. There's nothing inside. When beasts enter, they can only go into hibernation. In the silver grimoire, there's light and darkness, and the ground will appear. In the gold grimoire, there are mountains, rivers, and trees. Beasts don't need to go into hibernation and can live inside. The inside of the platinum grimoire is already very spacious. There will be life inside, birds, butterflies, flowers, and trees. Beasts can live happily inside. When Fei Wenli said this, Yu Yang felt that it was a little similar to his own dream realm. His own dream realm had nothing in the beginning. There was only light and dark clouds. Afterwards, it gradually became a beautiful world. Flowers, trees, hills, and lake. Yu Yang knew that it wasn't his own effort, but the heavenly sword goddess used her energy to create it. He didn't expect that the same thing would happen in his summoning grimoire. When he was dreaming and entered the dream realm, could it be that he entered his own grimoire's space? Can I enter my own grimoire's space? Yu Yang asked. Normal warriors can only enter the platinum grimoire's space, but innate rankers can enter the gold grimoire's or even the silver grimoire's space. If normal warriors want to enter the platinum grimoire's space, they must get the permission of the grimoire's owner and receive a holy beast before they can enter. Otherwise, even if they enter, they won't be able to leave. If you want to enter your own grimoire's space, you need to learn how to use the teleportation rune circle that is unique to the grimoire's space. For you, this is actually not that difficult. Other than teaching Yu Yang the method of entering the grimoire's space, Queen Vivian Li also personally demonstrated it by pressing her hand on Yu Yang's forehead. 7 colored lights shone brightly. Yu Yang felt that his body didn't leave, but his soul was quickly passing through a mysterious space. In an instant, he sensed a boundless, desolate world of ruins that stretched for thousands of miles. Inside the ruins, everything had withered. All life and buildings had been frozen. This was a completely deathly still world. When Queen Vivian Li moved her hand on Yu Yang's forehead, Yu Yang discovered that his soul had returned. Everything he saw just now was like a dream. Because of the black hole seal, I don't have the ability to send you into the grimoire's space. I can only guide your soul inside to sense it. The grimoire's space is actually a beautiful world. Everything frozen inside is caused by a lack of energy. As long as I can leave the black hole seal and recover my previous strength, then it will return to normal. Queen Vivian Li sighed slightly. She knew that although Yu Yang's improvement was fast, he was still far from being able to save her. Every once in a while, he could enter and chat with her, giving her a bit of energy. That was already a great blessing. Are you tired? Yu Yang saw that Queen Vivian Li's expression was slightly tired. He knew that the black hole's influence on her was too great. It would be best for her to return to the crystal coffin to sleep and recover more energy. He had learned many secrets from her, so he was more confident. He wasn't in a hurry, there would be opportunities in the future anyway. After not seeing you for a year, you've learned to be considerate? Queen Vivian Li giggled. She didn't reject Yu Yang's intimate action of carrying her into the crystal coffin. One last question. Why is there such a big difference between the innate rankers I've met? Yu Yang asked. Among the innate rankers Yu Yang had met, there were 2 types. One was the Thousand Goblins sect leader, Shun Tian, Elder Nan Gong, Impatience, Night Empress, and the others. These innate rankers were all extremely strong. Even Yu Yang, who had reached his current level, couldn't see through their hidden strength. The second type was innate rankers like Tu Qing, Kuang Zhan, Duan Mu, Lu He, Yao Guang, Kai Yang. They were also innates, but Yu Yang didn't care about their strength at all. Why was there such a big difference when they were all innates? Was it because of their cultivation? Was it because of their comprehension? Or some other reason? Queen Vivian Li was also slightly stunned when she heard this. She immediately reacted and giggled. So it's like this. Even the innates of the soaring dragon continent know how to fake things? Little Yu Yang, what you saw, I think it's a fake innate. They didn't train themselves to innate level through their own hard work. Instead, they relied on external forces, such as another innate's help or taking some kind of medicine to forcefully raise them to innate level. Although these fake innates are also innates, their strength is very weak. They wouldn't be able to improve in their entire lives. They are a kind of pitiful worm. A real innate should have a holy beast that grew up together with him, possessing his own unique domain of power. Hearing this, Yu Yang suddenly understood. Why didn't the Thousand Goblins sect leader care about him killing Tu Cheng and Kuang Zhan? Why didn't Tu Cheng and Kuang Zhan have holy beasts? That should be the case. Tu Cheng and Kuang Zhan were the Thousand Goblins sect leader's assistants who forcefully raised their strength to innate level. They were probably the loyal subordinates that the Thousand Goblins sect leader had created. Even if they died, it didn't matter. The Thousand Goblins sect leader should be able to create more of them. Hence, he wouldn't fall out with me just because I had killed Tu Cheng. Thinking about it again, he didn't seem to have holy beasts and domain of power? Holy beasts could be said to be Little One Li, Bloody Queen Red and the others, but domain of power, this was the first time Yu Yang had heard of it. What is domain of power? Your domain of power. I also can't see through it. It's hidden in a very deep space. It seems to be a flame, but it also seems to be something else. I can't be sure. When Queen Vivian Li said this, Yu Yang's heart palpitated. Could it be that his domain of power was a mysterious power that only appeared when he fainted a few times? He remembered that when he was fighting with the fake Elder Tian Saw, the dark golden specter that was sealed had come out. He was no match for it and fainted on the spot. When he woke up, he discovered that the dark golden specter had been instantly killed by him. Yu Yang had always been confused about this matter. He only knew that there was a mysterious power in his body that had saved him many times when he was in danger. Could it be that those were his domain of power? Yu Yang realized that he really had a lot of secrets. Forget it, he would slowly figure it out. Yu Yang was too lazy to think too much about it. He prepared to transfer some innate qi to Queen Vivian Li and wait for her to recover some strength so that she could send him out. If you want to use domain of power, it's actually very simple. You just have to feel your inner heart and feel your true strength. Try it. Queen Vivian Li lied quietly in the crystal coffin and encouraged Yu Yang to try feeling his domain of power. All right. If Yu Yang hadn't heard her mention it, he wouldn't have thought that there was still domain of power waiting to be developed in his body. In the first few minutes, Yu Yang's thoughts were like a tide, and he couldn't calm down. He couldn't feel his domain of power either. However, with Queen Vivian Li's gentle guidance, just like a teacher guiding him, Yu Yang gradually entered his inner heart. This was the first time he entered his own inner world. This was the first time he came into contact with the primordial power in his body in a conscious state. He came into contact with his own unique domain of power. It was as if a huge door of wisdom was slowly opening. Through his inner world, Yu Yang discovered that there were countless mysterious knowledge and mysterious powers, just like the stars in the Milky Way, floating in the air. The ones closest to him were the familiar Nirvana flame and world exterminating wheel. The ones that were even further away, Yu Yang couldn't feel them clearly. He only discovered that there were as many as the stars in the galaxy. Yu Yang first came into contact with Nirvana Flame and World Exterminating Wheel, and then explored further away. Suddenly, a mysterious power discovered him. Like a comet, it shot towards him angrily. It seemed like it was attacking him, but it also wanted to enter his body. However, Yu Yang discovered that the power was destructive and extremely terrifying. He was so scared that his mind trembled. At this moment, there seemed to be a strange creature coming out from his body. It raised its head and opened its mouth, swallowing the mysterious power in one gulp. Then, like a comet, it exploded in Yu Yang's body. In that instant, the mysterious comet energy was transformed into a new power in Yu Yang's body, becoming one of the components of his domain of power. Yu Yang could now clearly feel the existence of his domain of power, that was comparable to a black hole's devour. If he could make good use of this domain of power that could devour everything, would he still need to worry about the Thousand Goblins sect leader and Shun Tian outside? Yu Yang was stunned by the terrifying power of his own domain of power. In Queen Vivian Li's eyes, Yu Yang was completely entranced, his body ignited with nirvana flame. The nirvana flame expanded and formed a huge pillar of nirvana flame. It carried Yu Yang and broke through the seal of the black hole in an instant, disappearing without a trace like a comet. Queen Vivian Li was a little flabbergasted as she muttered to herself, "Once he awakened, he already has such a strong domain of power. This brat. Nirvana flame, world exterminating wheel, star explosion, how much potential does this brat have? The stronger he is, the faster I can leave. This is a good thing." Queen Vivian Li happily closed the crystal coffin and continued to sleep, waiting for Yu Yang to come and meet her again. At this time, in the dimension of duel, Machi Su Ling, who was going crazy, almost did not go crazy. He really wanted to cry. The enemy had disappeared. Under the influence of the code, he could not leave this damned dimension of duel. If the Yu clan's third young master really left this dimension of duel, then he would have to stay here forever. The consequences were unimaginable. When Machi Su Ling thought of staying here alone for the rest of his life, until he starved to death or died of old age, he had the urge to commit suicide. The only thing that kept him from committing suicide was the hope that Yu Yang would reappear. He felt that the extremely cunning Yu clan's third young master was hiding somewhere. It could be his inherent skill, or it could be his beast's ability. In any case, before he killed him, he would not leave the dimension of duel. Lich Ring? After the sand beast had almost turned the entire dimension of duel upside down, it finally found the Lich Ring that Yu Yang had left behind before he entered the black hole. Machi Su Ling took the ring and was even more sure of his deduction. He even guessed that this Yu clan's third young master had secretly hidden inside the Lich Ring. But the Lich Ring could only store dead things. Could it be that the Yu clan's third young master was a dead spirit? Machi Su Ling could not understand even if he wanted to explode his head. Just as he was holding the Lich Ring in puzzlement, a nirvana flame pillar suddenly shot out from the void. Yu Yang jumped out like a comet. His whole body was naked, without a single thread of clothing on it. Seeing Yu Yang appear, Machi Su Ling almost burst into tears. God, this brat had finally appeared. Machi Su Ling was afraid that Yu Yang would hide again. At that moment, he could no longer care about hiding his true strength. He immediately unsealed his innate level 4 strength and released his domain of power while roaring, "Brat, die! Dying under my domain of power is not a loss for you." Before he could attack, he suddenly realized that the Yu clan's third young master's body also had signs of releasing domain of power. He could not help but be shocked. This brat, how could he also know domain of power? Wasn't he just a level 3 innate junior? Which domain of power should I use? Forget it, let's try out my newly comprehended, exploding star explosion. Yu Yang muttered to himself, as if he was distressed about which domain of power to use. Machi Su Ling's 7 orifices bled as he listened. He had never seen such an abnormal person who had so many domain of power. How was he supposed to live? Chapter 284. Regardless of whether Yu Yang knew how to release his domain of power or not, Machi Su Ling would definitely not give his enemy the chance to do so. He roared like thunder as his body turned into a shooting star, furiously charging towards Yu Yang. As a true innate, Machi Su Ling was very clear about the weakness of releasing his domain of power. He had spent a total of 3 years to practice, and the speed at which he released his domain of power had only increased a little. Even if this brat knew how to use his domain of power, how could his speed be faster than him? Once he was within the range of his attack, under the attack of his domain energy, he would definitely die. The one who strikes first gains the upper hand, and the one who strikes later suffers a calamity. This was a principle that Machi Su Ling had understood 300 years ago. When experts fought, victory or defeat would be decided in a second. Whoever could release their domain of power faster and hit their opponent first would be the winner. Fall for me. Machi Su Ling believed that under his domain of power, the Yu clan's third young master would fall and become a tragic loser. With his snail-like speed, how could he use his domain of power? A halo of light spread out from Machi Su Ling's body, extending to a distance of 30 meters, forming a huge halo. Yu Yang, who was in the halo, immediately let out a sound. His body that was floating in the air started to fall. Although Yu Yang did not fall like what Machi Su Ling said, his body seemed to be restricted by an invisible force, and his movements were greatly affected. It was as if thousands of kilograms of steel was pressing down on Yu Yang's body, causing him to feel extremely heavy. Even taking a step forward was very difficult. His originally light and agile body was now extremely slow even when he moved his fingers. This was Machi Su Ling's domain of power, heavy pressure. Actually, Machi Su Ling, who was a level 5 and 8, was still a newbie when it came to controlling his domain of power. His domain of power was still relatively weak. His current domain of power could heavy pressure, that was 20 times his opponent's weight. This kind of domain of power was at most a beginner level. Domain of power was also divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. Each level could be further divided into first, second, and third level. It could be said that in terms of controlling domain of power, Machi Su Ling was just a newbie who had just stepped into the door. He was only slightly better than Yu Yang, who was still trying to figure it out. A domain power like heavy pressure was not a very good domain power. A super strong innate ranker could probably achieve the effect of heavy pressure with just his aura alone. However, for ordinary cultivators, domain power was still an invincible existence. Under the pressure of 20 times gravity, if one's body did not have enough resistance, they would immediately collapse. So this is his domain energy. Yu Yang could see through Machi Su Ling's body with his heaven eyes divine vision. There was a kind of energy that was being stimulated within Machi Su Ling's body. This kind of stimulation was similar to combustion, and there should be a time limit to it. However, within a certain range and time limit, the effects would be very obvious. Yu Yang discovered that there was a ring of light 30 meters away from him. He instantly realized that this was the range of his opponent's domain power, so he immediately turned around and prepared to leave this ring of light. Where do you think you're going? Machi Su Ling realized that this brat was like an undying cockroach. Not only did he not die under the 20 times gravity, he didn't even suffer any injuries. It was just that his movements had been slowed down. He immediately summoned a gold-ranked level 8 web spider and his guardian beast, a gold-ranked level 10 golden eagle. A golden eagle at the level of a holy beast. The web spider was not affected by the heavy pressure, and jumped up and down as if it was flying. It shot out a huge white net, covering Yu Yang's entire body. It then quickly dragged the huge white net and wrapped it into a ball, making it impossible for Yu Yang to escape from the net. In the sky, Machi Su Ling, who had merged with the golden eagle, unsealed his final and strongest power. Innate level 5, the entire dimension of duel, was on the verge of collapsing. The ground cracked and lava flowed out. In the dimension, Machi Su Ling's body continuously exploded with shockwaves. Even the gold-ranked level 8 web spider had no choice but to retreat. On the contrary, with the help of the shockwaves, the other gold-ranked level 8 sand dust beast was like a tiger that had grown wings. It swept up a sandstorm tornado with a speed that was unimaginable to humans. In the center of the tornado, it was as if there were thousands of knives rolling around, tearing everything apart. If any living being were to fall into this sandstorm tornado, they would definitely be smashed into smithereens that were even smaller than sand. At this moment, there were thousands of golden lights flashing on Machi Su Ling's hands. He condensed a ball of energy in the shape of a golden eagle. Only innate rankers with holy beasts could condense such a ball of energy. This kind of ball of energy contained the will of a holy beast. Not only was its power 10 times stronger than an unformed ball, it could also be commanded by the holy beast's will, automatically tracking the enemy and maintaining the ball of energy for a longer period of time. Once it was activated, as long as the holy beast did not die, it would definitely hit the enemy. Golden Eagle breaking the ground. Machi Su Ling raised the ball of energy in his hands and threw it towards Yu Yang, who was trapped in the white net. I'm here. Yu Yang suddenly appeared behind Machi Su Ling. The web of a web spider might be a headache for others, but for an innate who knew how to teleport, it was not impossible. Yu Yang's right hand was like a sword, while his left hand held onto one of his domain of power, star explosion. Yu Yang's domain of power was completely different from the Yoi effect of heavy pressure. It was a single point, and before it exploded, it would not affect the enemy. However, once it hit the enemy, it would immediately explode with the destructive power of a star explosion. He waved his hands and attacked together. The innate invisible sword Qi in his right hand and the star explosion in his left hand simultaneously struck towards Machi Su Ling's ears. This ambush was something that Yu Yang had secretly learned from Xue Wuxia. Swish, swish. What surprised Yu Yang was that the ambush of the innate invisible sword Qi actually missed. This was the first time that Yu Yang had encountered such a situation in the battle. It wasn't that Yu Yang's attack wasn't slow, nor was it that his sneak attack wasn't timely enough. He had completely anticipated Machi Su Ling's attack, and when Machi Su Ling unleashed his full strength, he immediately counterattacked. However, the innate invisible sword Qi that had worked every single time actually missed. This truly surprised Yu Yang. Just now, when Yu Yang's sword finger was about to explode Machi Su Ling's head, a pair of golden wings appeared behind his back. With lightning speed, he carried Machi Su Ling and narrowly escaped from Yu Yang's ambush. Yu Yang's innate invisible sword Qi only managed to cut off a few golden feathers. Machi Su Ling, who had just escaped from death, felt his heart beating wildly. If he didn't have the help of his holy beast, his head would have exploded just now. He wiped the fresh blood off his face, feeling both shocked and angry. Luckily, he had the help of his holy beast. The golden eagle that was charging towards the white net circled in the sky and continued to attack Yu Yang under the command of the golden eagle holy beast. Machi Su Ling stomped his feet angrily, causing the ground to crumble. He then stretched out his hand and pressed down, preparing to push Yu Yang, who was still under the pressure of his domain of power, into the crevice and let the magma burn this abnormally fast Yu Clan third young master to death. With the golden eagle holy beast, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage in terms of speed. In terms of strength, as a level 5 innate, he was more confident that he could suppress Yu Yang. Hiss hiss hiss. That web spider was loyal enough. When it saw that Yu Yang had escaped, it immediately jumped into the air and shot out a huge white net from its tail, preparing to wrap Yu Yang up again. Meanwhile, that sand beast that was still spinning and increasing its power gradually pounced towards Yu Yang. Die! Yu Yang shot out the star explosion in his hand. A meteor streaked across the sky like lightning. It entered the body of the gold-ranked level 8 web spider. In an instant, a terrifying explosion occurred between heaven and earth. It was as if the explosion could even shatter a planet into pieces. The ground, rocks, sand, magma, etc., everything disappeared. The dimension of Dual was filled with flames and shockwaves from the explosion, turning everything into dust. Forget about Machi Su Ling, the enemy, even Yu Yang, the owner of the domain of power, was trembling crazily. He felt as if the end of the world was coming. He almost thought that the dimension of Duel would explode into pieces. The powerful shock waves from the explosion caused Yu Yang and Machi Su Ling to be unable to hear anything. At this moment, they had completely lost their hearing. Machi Su Ling felt that his head was buzzing and he was disoriented. Even with the strength of an innate level 5, he was still pushed back more than 10 meters by the shockwave. In front of him, a fist fiercely punched towards him, causing Machi Su Ling to feel pain in his face. Fresh blood flowed out from his mouth and nose. Yu Yang did not stop attacking the enemy. On the contrary, the explosion was his best cover. Machi Su Ling was shocked. If it wasn't for the holy beast Golden Condor automatically protecting its master and flapping its wings in time, he would have been hit by the enemy's star explosion in the next second. Machi Su Ling couldn't open his eyes. He couldn't see at all, but he could feel that the destructive power of star explosion was accumulating in his opponent's hand. Summoning Grimoire. Almost at the same time when the second fist arrived, he chose to summon his grimoire and raised his protective shield to defend himself. The fist was pushed away by the protective shield. However, a slender finger silently pierced through the shield. Its target was Machi Su Ling's forehead. It was the Golden Condor again. It reacted in time and controlled its master's body. Chi. A beam of golden sword energy that could instantly kill an innate realm expert shot past Machi Su Ling's forehead. At the same time it sliced off his hair and scalp, it also left a horrifying wound on his forehead. If he was 1,000th of a second slower, Machi Su Ling's head would definitely be broken. The Golden Condor's energy ball was flying towards him from afar. It was affected by the explosion to a certain extent and its energy was greatly reduced. However, it still had a certain amount of attack power. Under the Golden Condor's control, it continued to chase after Yu Yang. Or perhaps, the Golden Condor didn't hope to kill the enemy. It was just a form of harassment to save its life. Further away, the sand beast that formed the violent sand tornado became even bigger after the explosion. Sand and sand filled the sky as it swept towards Yu Yang. Machi Su Ling realized that the young man in front of him had a murderous look in his eyes. He cursed inwardly. Before he could summon the sand beast back, Yu Yang had already appeared in the center of the violent sand tornado in a flash. The center of the tornado was unusually calm. Yu Yang shouted loudly. The Nirvana flame on his body soared into the sky and formed a Nirvana flame pillar that was tens of meters tall. This was one of his domain of power, Nirvana flame pillar. The sand beast might be able to instantly kill all the beasts in the world. Its power could indeed destroy a city. However, as an elemental beast, it would never be able to fight against the Nirvana flame that surpassed all other flames in the world. Under the impact and burning of the Nirvana flame pillar, its core was instantly melted. Instant kill. The sand beast's magic core was refined by the Nirvana flame and shrunk rapidly. All the impurities were removed, leaving only the purest elemental energy. It landed lightly on Yu Yang's palm. The Golden Condor's energy ball was completely useless in front of the Nirvana flame pillar. It burned and turned into nothingness. Machi Su Ling almost knelt on the ground. His opponent was too strong. This kind of enemy was not someone he could defeat. His previous provocation was so stupid. In the dimension of death, his action of hiding his true strength had turned into a foolish act of self-destruction. Only an innate level 7 and above could comprehend 2 or more types of domain of power. However, this young man in front of him who had only unsealed his innate level 1 innate was able to use it so easily. How could he still fight against this kind of enemy? When Machi Su Ling saw that Yu Yang's hands were rotating nonstop as he chanted with his mouth, countless dark gold and silver runes fluttered out, forming a galaxy of runes in Yu Yang's hands. It gradually condensed into a world-exterminating wheel that was spinning non-stop. When Machi Su Ling saw everything, his heart was filled with despair. His face was ashen and his whole body was trembling. 3 types. This brat actually possessed 3 unique domain of power. It was not that no innates knew how to use world exterminating wheel, but there was definitely no innate who knew how to condense world exterminating wheel. That was definitely a domain of power. Exploding star explosion, a nirvana flame, and world exterminating wheel. Any one of these 3 domain of power could easily kill someone. Now that he had 3 types of domain of power in his body, how could Machi Su Ling not feel despair? Break! Yu Yang raised his world exterminating wheel and prepared to cut through the middle of his grimoire protective shield. Machi Su Ling realized that his grimoire protective shield had already become as thin as paper in his opponent's hands. The mysterious sword Qi had already broken through it once. If the world exterminating wheel were to come again, he would probably die a horrible death. No. Machi Su Ling unleashed his greatest strength. However, it was not to counterattack, but to escape. His mind was completely overwhelmed by Yu Yang's killing intent. At this moment, he was no longer an innate level 5 ranker. Instead, he was a frightened and panicking loser. In a tenth of a second, Machi Su Ling had already escaped 100 meters away. It was even faster than teleportation. Yu Yang's teleportation also couldn't catch up. However, the world exterminating wheel that Yu Yang threw out could surpass time, speed, and space. Under Machi Su Ling's fearful gaze, it slashed towards his body. Machi Su Ling had already lost all hope. He slowly closed his eyes and waited for his death. Just as he was about to be slashed into 2, the golden eagle holy beast saved his life for the 3rd time. It used one of its wings to block in front of Machi Su Ling, while the other wing hit the ground, causing its master's body to tilt a little. The world exterminating wheel cut through the golden eagle holy beast's wing, from Machi Su Ling's left shoulder to his right abdomen. The golden eagle holy beast could only use its last bit of strength to protect its master's life. Half of Machi Su Ling's body was slashed apart, but his head was safe and sound because of the golden eagle holy beast's protection. He was still alive. The gold-ranked level 10 golden eagle holy beast automatically separated itself from Machi Su Ling's body. It raised one of its broken wings and stood in front of Yu Yang. At the last second, it still wanted to protect its master. This was a guardian beast. This was a guardian beast that would never betray its master. If Yu Yang didn't have his exploding star explosion, a nirvana's flame, and world exterminating wheel, the golden eagle holy beast would still persevere in the battle. But right now, the battle was already meaningless. It only wanted to protect its master until the end of his life. At the very least, it wanted to die in front of its master. Little Wen-Li turned into a rainbow and floated out from Yu Yang's body. Her big eyes that could speak looked at the golden eagle holy beast with its broken wing without blinking. Her small hands bowed towards the golden eagle holy beast with a gesture that was used by innate rankers to greet each other. At the same time, the golden eagle holy beast bent its wing and bowed towards Little Wen-Li. It turned its head and looked at Machi Su Ling, who was on the verge of death. Its eyes were filled with humans' complex emotions. It looked like love, but also pity. "I'm sorry, Sha, I was wrong." Machi Su Ling's eyes were filled with hot tears as he cried towards the golden eagle holy beast. "It was my ambition that caused your death. If I had agreed to live in seclusion with you, today would not have happened. It's all because I yearned for the emperor's throne of Ziwei. I was too envious of everything that Shun Tian had. It's all because of my greed that caused your death. I'm sorry, Sha, I'm sorry." In the golden light, the golden eagle holy beast gradually transformed into a young and beautiful woman who was around 30 years old. One of her arms was broken and blood was dripping down. She first shook her head towards Machi Su Ling, then paid her respect to Little Wen-Li for the second time. Her remaining right hand was deeply inserted into her heart. Those sharp nails had completely pierced through her heart. She fell down into Machi Su Ling's arms. She looked at him affectionately without saying a word. Then, she slowly closed her pair of beautiful big eyes. Machi Su Ling cried out in pain, his voice filled with grief. Tears of repentance rolled down his cheeks. He originally possessed power that no one in the world envied, had a woman who wanted to die in his arms even if she had to die, had love and happiness that others yearned for, but because of his greed, he destroyed everything with his own hands. Slash me, I can't let Sha Sha wait for too long, I owe her too much. Machi Su Ling howled madly. Little Wen Li's dual icicle blades danced like snow. An energy blade cut off Machi Su Ling's head. After she killed Machi Su Ling, she turned around and tightly hugged Yu Yang, who was waiting quietly. Tears welled up in her big eyes. Yu Yang gently wiped away her tears. Other than hugging little Wen Li tightly, he also kissed her smooth forehead. We must remember today's lesson of attracting others. We must never let happiness slip away from our hands. We must become stronger and defeat all our enemies. No one can stop us. Yes. Little Wen Li nodded her head obediently. Then, she raised her dual icicle blades high up and screamed. Her voice was filled with fighting spirit, as if she was replying to Yu Yang's words. Become stronger and defeat all your enemies. The diamond grimoire suddenly appeared on its own. Stone element Medusa, storm mermaid, thunder naga and a female serpent general that Yu Yang had never seen before also wielded her dual icicle blades. It was just that this female serpent general's dual icicle blades were 10 times bigger than Xiao Wen Li's dual icicle blade. It was even colder. The moment she appeared, the burning ground froze, turning it into an icy hell. This female serpent general looked similar to little Wen Li, but she was more mature and dignified, like a great general on the battlefield. She was also wearing a platinum armor decorated with heaven runes and ancient runes. This powerful female serpent general was one of little Wen Li's 4 guardian beasts, the ice serpent demon. Just like little Wen Li, stone element Medusa, storm mermaid, thunder naga and ice serpent demon raised the weapons in their hands and screamed. A ray of colorful light rose from little Wen Li's body. On the diamond grimoire, Medusa and the other 3 girls, 5 rays of dark golden light rose as well. They surrounded the colorful light pillar, forming an even bigger light pillar that shot into the sky. Leveled up. Yu Yang was pleasantly surprised to find that little Wen Li had finally leveled up again. After killing so many strong enemies, little Wen Li did not show any signs of leveling up. It was only when she accidentally activated the runic circle, when she was collecting starlight serene indigo grass, that little Wen Li leveled up once. After such a long time, she finally leveled up to Diamond Level 3. Although this leveling up was unbelievably slow. However, with Xiao Wen Li's strength, every time she leveled up, there would be a huge qualitative change. Yu Yang even suspected that Xiao Wen Li, this little lowly, might be a mythical beast, or even a transcending mythical beast. Her leveling up was completely different from normal beasts, which was why she was so slow. She was Queen Vivian Li's precious daughter. It was impossible for her to be the same as normal beasts. Xiao Wen Li didn't even have the time to let Yu Yang see clearly what kind of changes she had after leveling up. She threw herself into his arms like a swallow. Her sweet little mouth impatiently kissed Yu Yang's face, just like a little kid who had scored 100 marks in a test and couldn't wait to go back and tell her father. Yu Yang was so touched that he almost cried. With a lowly in his hands, he had the world. Chapter 285. After little Wen Li leveled up, she grew a little taller, but she was still a cute little lowly. Yu Yang was very patient. It didn't matter if she was a little lowly, he could just raise her slowly. It could also satisfy his weird uncle's evil heart. Thinking about Her Majesty Empress Fei Wen Li in the future when Her Majesty Empress gets out of the black hole sealed space, hugging an empress on the left, a little lowly in the middle, and a royal princess on the right, that kind of blissful sexual life. Just thinking about it would make one happy from the bottom of their heart. Hugging the fragrant little lowly, he fiercely kissed her tender little face a few times. Seeing her smile that was brimming with happiness, Yu Yang felt a sense of achievement in his heart. Was Uncle Strange Uncle something that anyone could do? Of course not. I've decided I want to be a great weird uncle. No, I mean, we want to be happy. Yu Yang made a huge aspiration. Yes, yes. The little lowly nodded her head obediently, not realizing her fate of being raised. Next, it was time to clean up the battlefield. The magic crystal of the gold-ranked level 8 sand beast was already in his hands, and it had already been refined by Yu Yang's nirvana flame. It was also a gold-ranked level 8 net spider, but its corpse was smashed to pieces. Yu Yang searched for a long time before he found the faint green magic crystal in the mud. The stone element Medusa seemed to be very interested in this magic crystal, staring at it eagerly. Yu Yang was speechless. It was a spider, you're a Medusa, you're a completely different species. However, Yu Yang was not stingy with the gold-ranked level 8 magic crystal. He threw the magic crystal to the stone element Medusa. The stone element Medusa fused the faint green magic crystal with her golden bow, and tied the net spider's poison sac on her waist. A dark golden light shot up to the sky. Purple, green, and white lights, 3 different lights flashed on the stone element Medusa's golden bow. In the end, it turned into 3 golden arrows with different patterns. Yu Yang could see the truth with his level 5 divine vision. This stone element Medusa had leveled up again. Furthermore, this leveling up included a qualitative change. After fusing with the fake Nirvana's flame in the Gemini Temple, the stone element Medusa had gained a new type of offensive fire ability. Although it was not as powerful as the Nirvana's flame, it was still extremely powerful against normal beasts. After all, it was the Nirvana's flame that was imitated by the Gemini Temple's Yu Yang's shadow. The fake Nirvana's flame was also very terrifying. Right now, the golden bow had also absorbed the gold-ranked level 8 magic crystal of the net spider, completing a complete transformation from its body to its weapon. On top of the original stone element and fire element, it had also added poison and spider silk. The original stone element Medusa was undoubtedly the weakest among Little Wan Li's 4 guardian beasts. However, right now, her power had skyrocketed. She had already surpassed the Storm Mermaid, and was catching up to the Thunder Naga. The dimension of duel that the old fox had created to test his abilities had already been completely destroyed. The sky and the ground were filled with mud and dust. There were no more hills, rocks, or magma. Everything had turned into dust. Just as Yu Yang put Machi Su Ling's corpse back, the golden eagle holy beast Sha Sha, who had transformed into a human form beside him, had completely disappeared, as if it had never appeared before. Once its master died, the guardian beast would turn into nothingness and would never be able to revive again. Perhaps the Storm Mermaid did not like the dimension of duel that was filled with fire and ashes. She blew the storm horn and summoned a storm and a huge tide, engulfing the whole dimension of duel. In less than 2 minutes, the storm and the tide had submerged the whole dimension of duel into a vast ocean. After going through many battles, the Storm Mermaid's summoning ability had also improved, and its power had increased greatly. When the dimension of duel was submerged, the stone element Medusa had even summoned her contracted gold tiger shark, letting it swim around the dimension of duel. The gold tiger shark had not come out for a long time. It was happily eating the pieces of the net spider's corpse. Although it did not have any magic crystals to eat, being able to eat a gold-ranked level 8 net spider to its heart's content, the gold tiger shark felt that its life was still pretty good. Leave this fellow here, let's go out. Seeing that the gold tiger shark was eating happily, Yu Yang decided to leave this gluttonous fellow that could not fight on land. On the mountain road of the Yu clan castle, While Yu Yang was secretly meeting Queen Vivian Li and killing Mochi Su Ling in the Black Hole Dimension, Princess Sisai, City Mistress Fallen Flowers and the others were fighting with Kai Yang of the Seven Great Bears. As for Hui Tai Lang, Thorny Flower Demoness and the Golden Beast, they were as powerful as their masters, continuously oppressing their opponent. The gold-ranked level 9 King of Blacklight, gold-ranked level 6 Giant Mammoth and the gold-ranked level 6 One-Eyed Giant were all completely defeated. The King of Blacklight was actually very powerful. Before that harmless and lovable Thorny Flower Demoness made her move, the King of Blacklight had already swept through the entire battlefield. Not a single beast could withstand a single move from it. If one were to use a phrase to describe it, it would be the one with the biggest fist is the boss. For example, the gold-ranked Thunder Mammoth, the one-eyed giant that knew how to use combat skills, the Herculean rhinoceros beetle that had the best defense in the world, the labor puppet that was not afraid of being beaten up, Fatty Hai that could transform into a behemoth, Shui Tan Lang that was as cold as ice. None of them were its match. The King of Black Light rampaged around, its 30-meter-tall body and its fist that was bigger than a house, fully displaying its arrogance as the boss of the battlefield. However, when the Thorny Flower Demoness with her slender fingers and fair hands appeared, this arrogant fellow immediately met a tragic end. It seemed like the Thorny Flower Demoness could not even be killed with one finger. However, when the King of Black Light saw the Thorny Flower Demoness, it immediately retreated in fear. As a gold-ranked level 9 beast, although it was not an intelligent holy beast, it still knew what its nemesis and danger were. If it was given a choice, the King of Blacklight would probably rather start a war with a human innate than meet this Thorny Flower Demoness. The Thorny Flower Demoness extended her petal-like wings and floated in the sky. With a wave of her small hands, countless huge thorny flower vines shot out from the ground. There were hundreds and thousands of vines, easily turning the entire mountain path into a sea of flowers. What was even more strange was that the countless vines intertwined to form a vine giant. It had a head, a body, arms and legs. Not only was it not shorter than the King of Blacklight, it was even bigger. The appearance of the vine giant marked the beginning of the King of Blacklight's tragic end. Firstly, this vine giant was not afraid of being hit at all. The King of Blacklight's fists were completely useless against the soft vine giant. On the contrary, once the vine giant's vines wrapped around the King of Blacklight, it would take a lot of effort for the King of Blacklight to break free. Countless vines drilled out from the ground, completely destroying the ground. They grabbed onto the King of Blacklight's legs and dragged it underground. The King of Blacklight wanted to struggle, but its arms were tightly entangled by hundreds and thousands of vines that were as thick as water buckets. The King of Blacklight was extremely strong, but under this kind of strangulation, it could not fight back at all. "Oh my God, this girl is too scary." Fatty Hai was frightened by the Thorny Flower Demoness. Luckily she was a beast raised by Yu Yang. If she was an enemy, the consequences would be unimaginable. Forget about Fatty Hai, even Shun Tian, who was watching the battle from afar, who was the Emperor of Ziwei, had a solemn expression. Right now, she was still not a golden-crowned thorny flower queen, yet she could easily subdue the King of Blacklight. If she was able to level up to become a golden-crowned thorny flower queen, wouldn't she be even more terrifying? Shun Tian was very depressed that he was unable to eliminate the Thorny Flower Demoness, this future threat, as Impatience was eyeing him covetously. He was confident that he could easily eliminate the Thorny Flower Demoness now. After all, she had not truly matured yet. However, when she leveled up to become a golden-crowned thorny flower queen, she would probably be very difficult to deal with. The battle between the Thorny Flower Demoness and the King of Blacklight was still ongoing. The vines were very effective, they could completely seal off the King of Blacklight's movements, but they couldn't kill it. The King of Blacklight was a rock giant. It didn't need to breathe, its body was made up of meteorite blacklight, it was incomparably hard. Its unique structure made it unafraid of any kind of attack or strangulation. In other words, even a physical attack like a siege hammer would only tickle it. It wasn't afraid of physical damage at all. How could they kill the King of Blacklight? If this question was given to Fatty Hai, he probably wouldn't be able to think of it even if he used 10 years. Yi Kong, Xue Tanlang, Prince of Tianluo and the others were all thinking. They knew that the Thorny Flower Demoness could completely suppress the King of Blacklight in terms of attributes, but they couldn't think of a good idea. The Thorny Flower Demoness also cutely bit her fingers, tilting her head as she thought. Her pondering expression made Shun Tian extremely jealous. A beast that knew how to think. How far was it from becoming a holy beast? Even if the golden-crowned Thorny Flower Queen wasn't a highly intelligent holy beast, it was already scary enough. If it could level up to become a holy beast, its power wouldn't just increase by a little, it would double or even 10 times. At that time, if he wanted to kill her again, it would be extremely difficult. The impatience kept staring at him, her face full of smiles, but there was a hidden killing intent in her smile, as if she would attack at any time. Shun Tian was helpless. He could only suppress his killing intent. The Thorny Flower Demoness suddenly thought of a way. The King of Blacklight's fate finally became one with the tragic fate. Countless vines rose up, looking like a forest of vines. The King of Blacklight, who had sunk into the ground, was suddenly pulled out by countless vines, lifted high above the ground, and hung in midair, while countless vines pulled out his limbs. Good idea! Xue Tanlang's cool face was moved. He was the first to praise. What? Fatty Hai didn't understand. Idiot, the King of Blacklight is of the earth attribute. Not only is it stronger in the soil, it can also continuously absorb the earth's energy. Although it isn't much, the Thorny Flower Demoness can't suppress it with her strength, so she can't hurt it. Hence, it can only be a stalemate. Yi Kong suddenly understood. Lifting it off the ground, it prevents the King of Blacklight from absorbing the earth's energy. The King of Blacklight will become weaker and weaker. On the other hand, the Thorny Flower Demoness can also absorb energy from its body, accelerating the King of Blacklight's exhaustion. From now on, the King of Blacklight's defeat is only a matter of time. Prince Tianluo knew that the King of Blacklight would definitely lose, but he reckoned that the gold-ranked level 9 King of Blacklight was still very strong and could still hold on for a long time. Countless thorny vines drilled into the King of Blacklight's body. Even more vines used their ugly mouths to slowly absorb the King of Blacklight's energy. This kind of attack was very slow and the effect was very weak, but it was enough to scare the King of Blacklight. It struggled with all its might, trying its best to break free from the vine's entanglement. Its struggle was destined to be futile. Maybe it was still a long time away from death, but this kind of futile struggle was ultimately just a deathbed struggle. Other than that, in the ruins of the Yu Clan village, the gold-ranked level 6 one-eyed giant was currently crying out in pain. Its only eye had been crippled by Hui Tai Lang's claw. It was currently covering its eye as it rolled on the ground in pain, letting out a blood-curdling screech that made people's hair stand on end. The eyeball was the one-eyed giant's biggest weakness. Hui Tai Lang's claw was really ruthless. However, the golden beast was not a vegetarian either. It was even more vicious and cruel than Hui Tai Lang. It directly bit a hole in the one-eyed giant's head, tearing its scalp open, and cracking sounds could be heard from the top of its skull. The golden beast did not care about the one-eyed giant's life or death at all. It used the nearest shortcut and rushed towards the magic crystal. It was not the first time it had bitten open a skull to swallow a magic crystal. Bone Dragon Giant. It would bite whatever it wanted, regardless of race. Hui Tai Lang and this little thing cooperated happily. The golden beast was in charge of biting open the skull, while he was in charge of biting off the one-eyed giant's limbs, preventing it from interfering with the golden beast's operation of breaking the skull. The golden beast was gluttonous, but without its master's permission, Hui Tai Lang knew that this little thing would spit it out even if it swallowed it. Reward according to contribution. Hui Tai Lang had heard Yu Yang say this before, and understood its meaning. It meant that the more work it did, the happier its master would be, and the more rewards it would receive. With the mentality of striving for contribution, Hui Tai Lang and the golden beast cooperated very well. The one-eyed giant was very pitiful. It became the first sacrifice. The thunder mammoth, which was also gold-ranked level 6, was very frightened. It wanted to escape, but the Herculean rhinoceros beetle proved to it that there were also powerful normal-ranked beasts, such as itself. The Herculean rhinoceros beetle fought against the thunder mammoth. Although its strength was much weaker than the gold-ranked level 6 mammoth, its unparalleled defense allowed it to temporarily not be at a disadvantage. Of course, there were also the two laborers, Megatron and Optimus Prime. Although they didn't have any attack power as a human wall, they were still quite qualified. Yikong, Fatty Hai, Li Brothers, Shui Tan Lang, Prince of Tian Luo and the others saw that they had the chance to show off their power, so they didn't hold back an attack. The Thunder Mammoth was outnumbered. Its defeat was already set in stone. Its master, Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears, flew into a rage. Just as he was about to fly over to help his own beast, he suddenly sensed danger behind him with his extremely strong innate senses. Turning his head to look, he saw a white light with terrifying destructive power rushing towards him. Shun Tian didn't care about Kai Yang, the one-eyed giant and the gold mammoth's life and death. The only thing he was paying attention to was the thorny flower Demonis. The thorny flower Demonis couldn't defeat the one-eyed giant after attacking for a long time. Suddenly, she bit her finger and started to think. Under Shun Tian's cold gaze, she clapped her hands happily, as if she had thought of a good idea. She flapped her petal-like wings and beautifully landed on the one-eyed giant's head. She reached out her hand and grabbed the golden beast that was biting its skull. The golden beast turned into a dark golden blade in her hand. The thorny flower Demonis held the dark golden blade and flapped her wings, flying towards the king of black light. Shun Tian was finally moved. His face was filled with surprise. Transform? This is a beast that is one with its master. This golden beast is actually a Tong Tian beast? Impatience laughed coldly. Master Shun Tian, don't you think that changing Tong Tian beast to Tong Tian mythical beast would be more appropriate? At this moment, Shun Tian's expression changed completely. Jealousy and greed flashed across his eyes. He turned around and looked at Impatience. What did you say? Could it be that the golden beast has already contracted a grimoire? It already has the qualifications to become a mythical beast. No, this is impossible. Of course not now, but who knows what will happen in the future. Impatience was still smiling, but the killing intent in her eyes was getting stronger and stronger. She was waiting for the most suitable time to attack. For example, when Yu Yang returned. Chapter 286. Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears suffered a sneak attack. Although he was covered in dirt, he was still an innate level 2 ranker. His body quickly recovered, only his clothes were torn and he looked a little battered. Kai Yang was furious at City Mistress Fallen Flowers' sneak attack. He immediately summoned a ghost fetus spitting worm beast. Its long and fat body looked like a giant black maggot. It opened its ugly mouth and immediately spat out a black ball. Yikong unintentionally discovered something strange and flew over. That black ball didn't look like an energy ball, but more like an iron ball. He waved his staff and swept it. Boom! A loud sound rang out. The black orb exploded violently, sending Yikong flying away. I'll send you on your way. As one of the 7 Great Bears, Kai Yang flew down from the sky and chased after Yikong like lightning. He pressed his palm on Yikong's chest and released his innate chi. No! Fatty Hai noticed Kai Yang's action, but he didn't have time to save him. When he arrived, Yi Kong had already been sent flying by Kai Yang. Fatty Hai knew that an innate rancor's attack wasn't something a normal warrior could defend against. Even if Yi Kong had the King Kong demon ape to protect him, he would still be in danger under an innate rancor's attack. Fatty Hai angrily used hippopotamus meteor punch on Kai Yang's back. Annoying ant. Kai Yang felt a sharp pain on his back. He was angered by Fatty Hai's powerful attack. If he wasn't an innate but a level 8 emperor, he would have been injured and vomited blood. On the surface, he was only a level 6 elder, but he was able to use a level 7 overlord punch. Kai Yang felt extremely angry but also a little strange. How could this fatty have such speed and strength? Kai Yang's reaction was extremely fast. He immediately used a roundhouse kick on Fatty Hai's chest. Fatty Hai fell like a cannonball, crashing onto the ground with a loud bang. In the sky, Princess Sisai's giant sword heavily slashed on Kai Yang's head. Sword Chi was like a giant white tiger, ruthlessly biting on Kai Yang's head. At this moment, the Emperor's sword Chi, the white tiger's energy, and the heaven runes were all stacked together and exploded on top of Kai Yang's head. Even though he was an innate rancor with an incomparably strong defense, he still felt dizzy and saw stars. This slash of the sword condensed the super strength that Princess Sisai had been accumulating for a long time. With the help of the Emperor's sword Chi and the heaven runes, the formed white tiger's energy sent Kai Yang, who was caught off guard, flying. Kai Yang spat out blood, but he still had the strength to fight back. Pushing his right hand against the ground, he struck back at Princess Sisai at an even faster speed. Summoning Grimoire. Prince Tian Luo flew to the front of Princess Sisai, summoned his grimoire and raised his protective shield, blocking this heavy blow. Princess Sisai raised her gigantic sword and slashed out in a circular motion, bypassing the barrier. In the instant that Kai Yang's attack missed, her gigantic sword slashed out in a circular motion. 20-fold blizzard. Xue Tanlang, the Ice Cube Man, attacked from the other side. He joined hands with the storm giant that he had summoned, smashing the power of the 20-fold blizzard on Kai Yang's right ribs. On one side was the white tiger's energy, and on the other side was the 20-fold blizzard. Kai Yang was eager to take revenge, but he was hit by the joint attack of Princess Sisai, Prince Tian Luo and Xue Tanlang. His body was also greatly shaken, but he still forced himself to hold on, exploding his innate strength, sending Xue Tanlang and Princess Sisai flying. At the same time, he laughed out loud and beat his chest a few times, shouting arrogantly, "I am an innate, you ants, what can you do to me? Overconfident little worms, come, what other tricks do you have? Before you die, I will allow you to show off your cowardice one last time." Lightning! A cold shout rang in his ears. Following that, an explosion that was even more terrifying than a bolt from the blue entered Kai Yang's left ear. Ice frost. At the same time, a pincer attack came from the 7 great bears Kai Yang's right ear. This was an attack from Xue Wuxia. Kai Yang's face contorted in pain, his hands pressing on his broken eardrums that were bleeding profusely, letting out an earth-shattering scream. After Xue Wuxia's attack succeeded, she immediately used her third move, other than the crane dance and swallow scissors. It was the third of her 3 ultimate moves, Goose Stomp. As Xue Wuxia watched the swan take off from the water, treading on the waves, and flapping her wings to soar into the sky, she came to a realization. She combined the original Xue clan's battle technique and created her own unique third move, Goose Stomp. Furthermore, under Yu Yang's guidance, she improved it once again, becoming a powerful kick technique to attack her enemies. Just as Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears was about to counterattack in anger and humiliation, Xue Wuxia's body floated up lightly. Her legs were as beautiful as a swan taking off, and her power was not any weaker than Princess Sisai's sword slash. She stomped on Kai Yang's face 18 times in a row. When one of the 7 Great Bears, Kai Yang's face exploded and his teeth fell to the ground. She beautifully flew up into the sky. This was Shui Wuxia's goose stomp, the one and only swan dance in the world. Kai Yang was furious. His arms shook the ground, wanting to jump up. He was an innate rancor. If he was beaten to the ground by someone, then he would be the biggest joke in the world. Oh! A demonic aura covered the sky and earth. A platinum-ranked level 5 world-destroying demon wolf forcefully pushed Kai Yang to the ground, its huge mouth biting onto Kai Yang's head. Its sharp teeth sank into Kai Yang's throat, causing blood to splatter everywhere. This, of course, was Grey Wolf, who had been eyeing Kai Yang for a long time. Kai Yang released his innate qi and struggled with all his might. However, Grey Wolf had the same character as its master, Yu Yang. It wasn't afraid of any innate rancors at all. It firmly bit down, not letting go at all. Kai Yang punched it dozens of times, and it retaliated with dozens of claws. Grey Wolf's skin and flesh were split open. Kai Yang's chest, an innate rancor, was also badly mutilated. There were even some places where white bones could be seen. Fatty Hai desperately pounced forward, grabbing one of Kai Yang's fists with all his might. With both his hands and feet, he strangled Kai Yang's right arm with all his might. On the other side, Yi Kong, who had a few broken ribs and was vomiting blood, also pounced forward while howling. Shui Tanlang couldn't interfere, so he saw an opening and kicked towards Kai Yang's lower body. At this point, he didn't care about his vital parts anymore. According to Yu Yang's words, he should hit a man's most painful part. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. Kai Yang was in so much pain that he wanted to die. Luckily, the injured Fatty Hai and Yi Kong couldn't control him. He struggled to break free from the two's grip and madly pulled away Grey Wolf, who refused to let go. As Grey Wolf was pulled away, he also tore off a large piece of Kai Yang's face with all his might and swallowed it into his stomach like a tonic. At this time, half of Kai Yang's face was destroyed, his body was covered in blood, his ears were broken, his facial bones were broken, and his ribs were injured. If he wasn't an innate level 2 rancor, he would have died long ago. In his entire life, he had never suffered such heavy injuries. Nor had he suffered such heavy humiliation. A dignified innate master was actually beaten up to such a pitiful state that his skin could barely cover his bones. All of you must die. Kai Yang roared in grief and indignation. Whoosh! Boom! In the sky, a meteor appeared under Prince Tian Luo's summon. It fell at an extremely fast speed and smashed onto Kai Yang's body. At this moment the earth shook and dust flew everywhere. When the dust dispersed, one of the 7 great bears, Kai Yang, was actually still alive. He stood upright in the middle of the shattered meteor, bleeding from his 7 orifices. Although he was smashed by another meteor, he only suffered heavy injuries and didn't fall down immediately. He even had the strength to counterattack. On the other side, Princess Sisai, who had just killed the ghost fetus spitting insect, raised her giant sword. Thousands of sword lights flashed, and the air seemed to be split apart. Under the support of White Tiger's chi and heaven runes, a 12-meter-long sword chi slashed across the sky, fiercely slashing onto Kai Yang's head. Kai Yang's body swayed a little, but his hands were still accumulating energy, as if he was prepared to perish together with everyone. Shui Tanlang was about to attack, but suddenly, Shui Wuxia floated down from the sky and shouted, "Everyone move aside, let me do it!" From the sky, snowflakes fluttered down along with her. Even Shui Tanlang couldn't summon a 50 times ice storm, but it was formed in Shui Wuxia's hands and smashed onto Kai Yang's head. Kai Yang raised his right hand and forcefully used his innate energy to disperse the ice storm. His injured face, which was dripping blood, revealed a sinister and terrifying expression. He laughed bitterly. "If I die, then all of you will die with me. None of you will live." This Kai Yang was in despair. He prepared to self-destruct. Not only did his body increase his innate energy, even his stomach bulged. Everyone hurriedly retreated. However, this shameless Kai Yang actually pounced towards the carriage. On the carriage, there were Yu Bing, Inan and City Mistress Fallen Flowers. Princess Sisai and the rest were shocked and flew out to stop them. Before she arrived, the Li brothers, who had never spoken, quietly came out from the sides of the carriage. They had never forgotten their responsibility to protect the carriage. Unless he died, Kai Yang would not be able to pass through them and reach the front of the carriage. The two of them acted in unison, each grabbing one of Kai Yang's arms. At the same time, they exerted their strength and lifted Kai Yang up. Carrying the crazed Kai Yang of the 7 Great Bears, they leaped towards the distant ruins of the Yu clan village, away from the carriage and the people who were chasing them. Fatty Hai madly rushed over and shouted, "Bastard, this fellow belongs to me, let go of me!" Yi Kong couldn't say anything. He was so angry that blood was spurting out of his mouth. City Mistress Fallen Flowers bit her lip. She had already accumulated her aurora light, and could give Kai Yang a fatal blow at any time. However, the Li brothers' actions made her unable to do so. In the sky, Shui Wuxia's light wind teleportation was even faster than Princess Sisai. She instantly caught up to the Li brothers and Kai Yang, who was about to self-destruct. On her forehead, the mysterious rune circle that had disappeared flashed once again. Her ability exploded. Her lily-white hands pierced through Kai Yang's chest from behind. What her lily-white hands grabbed was Kai Yang's bloody heart. "It's too late. You will all die." One of the 7 Great Bears, Kai Yang, revealed a vicious smile amidst his pain. "Is that so?" Shui Wuxia laughed coldly. The heart in her hands, because of the cold air from her ability, had turned into a block of ice. Under Shui Wuxia's tight grip, it shattered into countless ice shards. Starting from Kai Yang's chest, an irresistible frost quickly spread, covering his entire body. If the Li brothers hadn't retracted their hands in time, they would probably have been sealed in ice as well. Shui Wuxia used a crane dance and kicked Kai Yang's frozen body. At the same time, she floated backwards. Kai Yang, who had crashed heavily onto the ground, finally self-destructed. Millions of ice shards exploded, splashing all over the sky and the earth. Under the freezing effect of her ability, the power of the explosion was greatly reduced. The Li brothers, who were sent flying by the shockwave, were caught by Yi Kong and Fatty Hai without a care for their own safety. Without saying a word, Yi Kong and Fatty Hai ruthlessly beat up Li Jie and Li Gu. In the end, they hugged each other tightly. To be able to sacrifice their own lives to protect everyone at the last moment, they were definitely true brothers. The heavily injured one-eyed giant screamed and died. On the contrary, the Thunder Mammoth, which had been beaten up miserably, was safe and sound. The reason was that when Kai Yang was surrounded and attacked by everyone, it had already betrayed its master due to its low loyalty. It hid to one side, not daring to make enemies with Princess Sisai and the others. Moreover, it was smart enough not to run away. Otherwise, Hui Tai Lang wouldn't mind eating a meal of mammoth meat. At this time, Shun Tian, who was floating above the Yu clan castle, was so embarrassed that he wanted to cover his face. A dignified level 2 innate ranker, Kai Yang, who was known as one of the 7 Great Bears, was actually defeated by a group of children. He didn't want to deny the battle power of Shui Wuxia and Princess Sisai, but he felt that Kai Yang was really too weak. This kind of innate was useless even if he didn't die. Shun Tian was still very calm now, because he still had his arrangements in the Yu clan castle. Even if Machi Su Ling, Kai Yang and Yao Guang all died, it wouldn't matter. As a person who planned everything, he would never rely on a few useless subordinates to complete his plans. If Sky Law wasn't here, Shun Tian wouldn't even care about what happened in front of him. The thorny flower Demoness, who was holding the golden beast that had transformed into a long sword, sliced open the King of Black Light's skull and dug out the gigantic magic core, was smiling like a blooming flower. She held the heavy king of black light's skull and happily flew up and down in the sky, flapping her petal-like wings. When the little golden beast saw this, it couldn't help but drool. It also transformed into a pair of wings and flew clumsily, chasing after the thorny flower demoness, as if it wanted to take a bite out of her. The king of black light was actually not dead, but the thorny flower demoness and the golden beast had already forgotten about it. Boom! The king of black light's body shook, and its huge torso exploded, shattering into pieces. Shun Tian felt that something was wrong. Why did the king of black light die? Could it be that its master, Machi Su Ling, who thought he was smart and hid his innate level 5 strength, was killed by the Yu clan's third young master? In less than half an hour, the innate level 5 Machi Su Ling was already dead? Shun Tian snorted lightly. It seemed like he had to carry out the second step of his plan. He didn't look down the mountain anymore and floated down to the Yu clan castle. Impatience also landed on the roof of the carriage. Ignoring Fatty Hai and the others who were drooling, she sat down comfortably. Her snow-white long legs dangled down from the roof of the carriage. Her jade-like toes, which were smeared with balsam juice, swayed lightly, leisurely and contentedly. City Mistress Fallen Flowers obviously recognized Impatience. She quickly closed the curtains of the carriage, not wanting to see her. Princess Sisai raised her giant sword and sent Fatty Hai, Yikong and the others who were staring blankly into the sky. Even Prince of Tian Luo and Xue Tan Lang, who couldn't escape in time, were no exception. Not long after, a light flashed. Yu Yang, who was dripping wet as if he had just been fished out of a water tank, appeared in front of everyone. He didn't have a single injury on his body, allowing everyone to relax. Princess Sisai was very happy that this brat had returned, but of course she wouldn't show it. Instead, she snorted, "Why are you so slow? I took a bath and changed my clothes. Why, I'm not late, am I?" Yu Yang's expression looked like he was going to someone's wedding. "If you didn't come back, you would really be late. Just now, someone wanted to self-destruct and almost caused a tragedy." Impatience giggled, just like a bad fox who had stolen a chick. "Damn, then where did you go? Didn't you kill that guy instantly?" When Yu Yang heard this, he was furious. "I have an important mission, I have to keep an eye on that big monster." Impatience pointed her jade-like finger at the thorny flower demoness and the golden beast that were flying around in the sky. "If I didn't keep an eye on you, your 2 treasures would have been snatched away by others. If you have good things, why don't you hide them? If you show them in public like this, it's very easy for people to commit crimes." It's indeed very easy for people to commit crimes. Yu Yang looked at the beautiful cleavage between Impatience's towering breasts, almost drooling. "Lend me your ear." Princess Sisai couldn't stand it anymore. She pulled this brat's ear and saved him from Impatience's cleavage. Fatty Hai and Yikong quickly pretended to be obedient children, not looking sideways as they secretly swallowed their saliva. However, they were clear that this girl was here for Yu Yang and had nothing to do with them. It was useless to think too much. They should quickly clear the battlefield and see if they could get any benefit. After all, they had defeated an innate level 2 mini-boss. According to Yu Yang, it would definitely drop something. Xue Wuxia and Princess Sisai gave up, so they wouldn't split the loot. Yikong, Fatty Hai, the Li brothers, Prince of Tian Luo and Xue Tan Lang played rock-paper-scissors. The lucky Fatty Hai was the first to win. He chose the Thunder Mammoth, who had the intention to surrender. He already had the iron-skinned rhinoceros and little hippopotamus, these 2 strengthening-type beasts. If he added the gold-ranked level 6 Thunder Mammoth, his strength would definitely soar. This was the best choice. Xue Tan Lang's luck was also not bad. He was the second to win. He chose Kai Yang's Platinum Grimoire. The third to win, Yikong, gave up the Platinum Grimoire and the gold-ranked dual arrowhead blades on Yao Guang's waist. Instead, He chose the one-eyed giant's corpse. On the surface, his explanation was to let the King Kong demon ape swallow the gold-ranked level 6 one-eyed giant to see if it could level up. In reality, he was giving Yao Guang's platinum grimoire to Prince of Tianluo. As for the gold-ranked dual arrowhead blades, he decided to give it to the Li brothers, who were more suitable. Even though Yi Kong didn't have a good weapon himself, he only had the bronze-ranked giant rod that Yu Yang had given him previously. This weapon was obtained from Lich Suoji's gold-armored puppet. Prince of Tianluo also tactfully chose the platinum grimoire, leaving the most valuable and suitable dual arrowhead blades to Li Jie and Li Go. The rest, such as the broken pieces of Kai Yang's corpse and the Yao Guang's corpse, were all given to Yu Yang, this corpse-collecting maniac. He didn't even let go of the King of Blacklight's corpse. If the meteorite obsidian was refined well, then it could be made into the highest quality meteorite gold essence and Emperor's Heart obsidian. Even the second highest quality black gold obsidian and meteorite iron essence were not bad. Of course, other than Yu Yang's Nirvana flame, it would be a dream for others to use the King of Blacklight's corpse to refine meteorite gold essence. Give it to me. Yu Yang, who was like a slave owner, started to exploit his beasts again. Woo woo. The thorny flower demoness reluctantly handed over the King of Blacklight's giant magic crystal to her evil master, looking pitiful as if she was about to cry. It would be strange if she didn't cry when she had to hand over the magic crystal that she had painstakingly obtained. Woof. Hui Tailang, on the other hand, was used to handing over the one-eyed giant's magic crystal to Yu Yang. It knew that its master was only using his authority to display his dignity as the master of the clan. He was still more fair when it came to rewards and rewards. Whoever did the most work and put in the most effort would definitely receive the most reward. After Yu Yang finished collecting the magic crystal, he waved his hand towards the Yu clan castle. His voice was like the voice of Evil Zhou. If you want to eat magic crystals, then work harder. When Hui Tailang, the thorny flower demoness and the golden beast heard this, they immediately rushed towards the Yu clan castle. Everyone was sweating profusely. Like master, like beast, no matter how good the beast was, once it was in Yu Yang's hands, it would also lead him astray. Chapter 287. Yu Clan Castle, in front of the main gate. Just like the day when Yu Yang dragged forth Mother to the Yu Clan Castle, history was repeating itself. The only difference was that Yu Yang's followers had changed from the two siblings back then. Now, he had many followers. There were Yi Kong, Fatty Hai and the Li clan brothers, who had fought bravely and sacrificed their lives for him. There were also Yu Bing and Yu Yu, who were sisters who depended on each other for survival. There were also Prince of Tianluo and Xue Tanlang, the two future brothers-in-law who were not afraid of strong enemies and were willing to help him willingly. There were even two family guards who did not share the same surname, Lin Lei and Lin Miao. Of course, the ones who supported him the most were the girls who had a mutual affinity with him. The Yu Yang who fought alone now had Princess Sisai, City Mistress Fallen Flowers, Xue Wuxia and Anan behind him. There was even an Impatience who was interested in him and was willing to give up on exploring the 10th floor of Tong Tian Tower for him. She was also one of the 3 strongest warriors of the demonic palace, Sky Law. Last time, Yu Yang's opponent was the substitute clan master Yu Shan. This time, his opponent was the fake Yu Qiu who easily defeated Yu Shan. This fake Yu Qiu had come prepared. He had the support of several innates and the great emperor of Ji Wei, Shun Tian. He even dared to challenge Yu Yang, who had become an innate at the age of 20 and was in the limelight. If the Soaring Dragon continent didn't have a transcender like Yu Yang, if the Yu clan didn't have Yu Yang as their descendant, then everything would be different. The Soaring Dragon continent's rankers with Jun Wu Yu as their leader would be captured by the Eastern Goblin tribe and would die in the Eastern Goblin tribe's war. The Yu clan, which had been passed down for thousands of years, would completely collapse in the hands of the fake Yu Qiu. Yu Yang appeared and changed everything unintentionally. The enemy's plan that they had been planning for hundreds of years had changed because of his appearance. Today was the turning point of the future. If the fake Yu Qiu won, the Yu clan would be doomed. If Yu Yang won, then the Yu clan would be revived and the soaring dragon continent would see the light of day. The gates of the Yu clan castle were tightly shut. Just like that day. It seems like Great Emperor Ziwei's plan is not simple. Impatience revealed a cold smile. If that's the case, let's wait outside for a while. Yu Yang's heart stirred slightly. In the past, he didn't have such a strong premonition of the situation. But after breaking through the 5th level of the innate invisible sword qi, other than the improvement of his 5 senses, the premonition of his 6th sense had also greatly improved. Princess Sisai, who also possessed 6 senses, nodded in agreement with Yu Yang's decision. With her 6 records, inherent skill, she could feel that the Yu clan castle was like a gigantic prehistoric beast that was about to devour people. If he charged in, he would very likely fall into the enemy's trap. Rather than being controlled passively like this, it would be better to wait for the enemy's reaction outside and act according to the situation. At the very least, he would be able to grasp the initiative this way. Yu Yu and Yu Bing had always followed Yu Yang's instructions. No matter what, they would not leave the carriage and definitely not give anyone a chance to take advantage of them. Yu Yang believed that the enemy would definitely want to capture the 2 girls. They would be the best weapon to deal with him. However, Yu Yang would definitely not let the enemy have their way. Especially when impatience came, he was even more confident that he could control the entire situation in his hand. We are fine, don't waste your spiritual qi. Yi Kong, Fatty Hai and the Li brothers all suffered different degrees of injuries. Among them, Yi Kong's injuries were the heaviest, his ribs were broken. Yi Kong felt that he couldn't unleash his full strength, so he couldn't waste Yu Yu's healing on him. There would definitely be a tough battle later on. Yu Yu was the only healing-type summoner, so her healing water ball could only be used at the most critical moment. Yi Kong tried to persuade her, but how could Yu Yu just sit and watch? She persisted in summoning the healing water ball and healed Yi Kong, Fatty Hai and the Li brothers. Fatty Hai's injuries were not light at first, but after contracting a gold-ranked level 6 Thunder Mammoth, he obtained the Thunder Mammoth's huge energy and recovered most of his injuries. He was very happy and his face was full of smiles. Finally, he had a gold-ranked beast. As for the silly words he said before about only contracting gold-ranked beauties, Fatty Hai chose to temporarily forget about it. Yi Kong didn't laugh at him anymore because the big battle was coming. He only needed to find a rock and sit down to rest, recovering his full strength and preparing for the next big battle. Yu Yang walked over and quietly threw a magic crystal at him. Yi Kong was startled. He realized that this was a gold-ranked level 6 One-Eye Giant's magic crystal. Furthermore, Yu Yang had refined it with his Nirvana's flame, so its energy was extremely pure. Yu Yang had level 5 divine vision. He realized that the bronze-ranked level 5 King Kong demon ape was about to evolve. If it could swallow a magic crystal with extremely strong energy, such as the One-Eye Giant's magic crystal, its power would definitely increase greatly. The King Kong demon ape that was carrying the One-Eye Giant's corpse had already thrown it away. It almost drooled like a waterfall. It stared at the gold-ranked level 6 magic crystal in its master's hands without blinking. Yi Kong reacted and passed the magic crystal to his King Kong demon ape. Since it was given by Yu Yang, he didn't need to be polite and accepted it. The King Kong demon ape took the magic crystal and immediately swallowed it. It felt that this was not enough to express its feelings. It was so excited that it pounded its sturdy chest, letting out cheers from its throat. Seeing its useless look, Hui Tai Lang barked a few times. He felt that this gorilla was really stupid. Wasn't it just a gold-ranked level 6 magic crystal? This thing couldn't be compared to an orb at all. For the first time in Hui Tai Lang's life, he felt that he was much stronger than that stupid King Kong demon ape. This wasn't a problem of level and power, but the difference in knowledge and ambition. Hui Tai Lang felt that his ambition was very great. His dream was to eat a demon king. Was this something a normal beast could do? As for knowledge, Hui Tai Lang looked at the King Kong demon ape and suddenly realized a thought that he had never thought of before. This gorilla seemed to be very stupid, but he seemed to be much smarter than it? Hui Tai Lang couldn't understand why he was smarter than the King Kong demon ape. He looked at Yu Yang and felt that he might have followed the right master. Thus, he happily walked to Yu Yang and rubbed himself against him. If you want to eat an orb, then fight properly later. Beat the enemy to death. Yu Yang threw out the most tempting bait. Okay. The thorny flower demoness also knew how to act obedient to please her master now. Woof 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 meow a woo. Hui Tai Lang couldn't speak, otherwise he would definitely proudly promise his master that he would complete the mission. Although he had mastered many foreign languages, it was still too difficult for him to pronounce the human language. On the other side, the King Kong demon ape leveled up with the help of the gold-ranked level 6 One-Eyed Giant's magic crystal. It directly jumped over silver-ranked and leveled up to gold-ranked level 3. 2 minutes later, because the magic crystal that Yu Yang had refined with the Nirvana flame was too pure, the King Kong demon ape leveled up to gold-ranked level 4. It was a pity that its body could only withstand the evolution of gold-ranked level 4. Otherwise, it could level up even higher. Prince of Tian Luo and Xue Tan Lang were extremely envious when they saw this. However, since Yu Yang knew how to refine the magic crystal, they weren't in a hurry. It wouldn't be too late to look for their future brother-in-law when they had a magic crystal that was especially suitable for their own beasts to level up. Gold-ranked beasts would always be a fatal temptation. No warrior could reject it, unless they were abnormal like Yu Yang, whose beasts were either platinum-ranked or diamond-ranked. Beside the horse carriage, Yi Kong, Fatty Hai, Li brothers and the others cheered loudly. They were wild with joy that the King Kong demon ape had leveled up to gold-ranked level 4. Every time they leveled up, it was the greatest desire in a warrior's heart. In the Yu clan castle far away, the sound of a huge chain being pulled was heard. The drawbridge was slowly lowered and landed on the ground with a loud rumble. The castle's gate was pushed open by the tireless puppet beast. A group of elite clan general guards walked out in a single file. Although Yu Yang wasn't familiar with the clan general guards, he could tell with one look that these people weren't Yu clan guards at all. In the middle of the guards, there was a muscular man around 40 years old. His facial features were similar to Yu Yang's, but he was more mature and more dignified. There was a scar on his face that made him look more masculine and rough. From the surface, this man was undoubtedly a dragon among men. He was mature, steady, dignified, intelligent, and strong. He was indeed a suitable candidate to be the clan master. More importantly, this man had an indescribable charisma. He was born to be a leader. Once he appeared in front of others, he could attract others to follow him. On his left, there was another man who looked similar to Yu Yang, but his skin was slightly darker. This young man was also extraordinary. He was obviously an outstanding talent among the younger generation, an outstanding talent among his peers. He had an oppressive heroic aura. Looks like they are the fake Yu Qiu and the fake third young master. Yu Yang humphed lightly. He realized that these two impostors were really good at acting. If the fake Yu Yang and the real Yu Yang were to stand together, other than the difference in skin color and the fake Yu Yang looking more mature, there wouldn't be any big difference between them. Other than temperament, the biggest difference between the real and fake Yu Yang was their strength. The fake Yu Yang's strength was only at level 6, the elder. In the eyes of others, the existence of this fake Yu Yang was much more reasonable. After all, an abnormal person like Yu Yang, who had already reached innate realm at the age of 20, was too unbelievable. To be able to reach level 6 elder at the age of 20 was already an amazing genius. One must know that even Yen Pejun, Feng Qisha and the other amazing people hadn't reached this level before. Only the Prince of Zijin and young sect leader Bai Yunfei were super geniuses who had reached level 6 elder at the age of 20. Xue Tanlang looked at the fake Yu Qiu and suddenly humphed. He is a level 6 elder, with 2 attributes of dark and fire. Leave this guy to me. Fatty Hai and Yi Kong wanted to test their new strength, but when they heard that the fake Yu Yang was a level 6 elder, with 2 attributes of dark and fire, they kept their mouths shut. This kind of enemy was indeed more suitable to be dealt with by Xue Tanlang, the Ice Cube guy. Xue Tanlang was the best candidate to deal with this kind of enemy. Other than the fake Yu Qiu and his son, there was also the great emperor of Ziwei, Shun Tian, and the 3 heavenly imperial guardians who came to be the judge. There was only one from Xia Kingdom. It was the ascetic practice saint, Xia Kingdom's heavenly imperial guardian. Beside him was the Tian Luo Kingdom's heavenly imperial guardian. He was also the only one who came. He was dressed in white and was middle-aged. He looked like a scholar and not a heavenly imperial guardian. On their right there were 2 heavenly imperial guardians from Zijin Kingdom. One was tall and one was skinny. Both of them seemed to be as strong as the ascetic practice saint. Other than that, there was also the 1,000 Goblins Sect's 100 Transformations Demon Elder. Her appearance made everyone feel a chill in their hearts. The 1,000 Goblins Sect's 100 Transformations Demon Elder had come. Would the 1,000 Goblins Sect leader be far away? Behind them, there was also a demon-like innate whose entire body was burning with flames. Yu Yang had seen him before. This demon innate claimed to be a traitor of the demon abyss. He was very friendly with humans and was willing to stay and live in the soaring dragon continent. Yu Yang was not interested in this fellow. Instead, he looked at the Marquis of Zijin who was hiding behind the demon innate. Yu Yang had never been afraid of strong enemies. In his heart, intelligent people were scarier than idiots with strong abilities. The Marquis of Zijin had an extremely high IQ and was extremely cunning. Yu Yang would rather face another innate than see him appear. The appearance of the Marquis of Zijin was definitely not a good thing. The last one to arrive was the only survivor of the 7 Great Bears, Tian Quan. He had a sorrowful expression on his face. The family guards beside him were holding onto a spirit tablet that was made in a hurry. The names Yao Guang and Kai Yang were written on it. The opponent had as many as 7 innates. Although the ascetic practice saint and the middle-aged scholar would remain neutral and might even help Yu Yang, the opponent would definitely have other tricks up their sleeves. For example, the 1,000 Goblins Sect leader who was invisible. Just Shun Tian and the 1,000 Goblins Sect leader were enough to suppress the opponent. Not to mention the addition of a few innates. This battle, let alone ordinary people, even the impatience frowned. She felt that it would be very difficult. Yu Yang belonged to the kind of person who wouldn't feel itchy even if he was covered with fleas. He didn't care about the opponent's many innate. There were only 3 people that made Yu Yang a little afraid. Shun Tian, who was the great emperor of Ziwei, the fake Yu Qiu and the Marquis of Zijin. These 3 fellows were the real enemies in Yu Yang's heart. This was because these 3 people all had extremely high intelligence. It couldn't be seen from a smart person's face, but smart people were definitely different from idiots. Yu Yang's level 5 divine vision definitely couldn't see the opponent's intelligence, but he had a feeling. The fake Yu Qiu could bring him a lot of trouble, even though he wasn't an innate. The Marquis of Zijin who had hidden his strength couldn't be ignored for even a second. Of course, the scariest one was still the great emperor of Ziwei, Shun Tian. This great emperor of Ziwei was really scary. If he had a 10,000th chance, he would definitely try his best to kill him. Both sides were facing each other, swords drawn. Although Yu Yang's side was weaker, Yi Kong and Fatty Hi's fighting spirit was extremely strong. They definitely wouldn't go soft just because the opponent had many innate. Even Lin Lei and Lin Miao, the two external disciples, tried their best not to tremble as they stood in front of the carriage with Yi Kong and the others. After the battle just now, they had understood a lot. No matter if they were innates or not, any one of them could instantly kill them with a wave of his hand. Rather than being instantly killed like a coward, it was better to stick out your chest and be a man who looked at life and death with a smile. If they wanted to be a coward, they could be a coward forever. But if they wanted to be a hero, they could only be a hero once in their lives. They had made their choice. Today, I sincerely invite guests from all over to be the Yu clan's witness. The fake Yu Qiu sincerely bowed to the three heavenly imperial guardians and the other innates. The Yu clan is unfortunate. As the substitute clan master, Yu Qiu should be in charge in times of crisis. If there are any rebels or fakes, we should arrest them at all costs. We should pacify the situation and protect the Yu clan for 1,000 years. Right now, the three heavenly imperial guardians have suggested that in order to distinguish the real from the fake, Yu Qiu would like to use everyone's opinion and use the blood test method. Blood test method? When Yu Yang heard this, he sweated profusely. How could such an ancient method be used? I wonder if the substitute clan master Yu Qiu would participate in the blood test method? Mr. Yu Qiu has been wandering in the demon abyss for more than 10 years. Has his blood been contaminated by the demons? Is he still a descendant of the Yu clan? Princess Sisai, who possessed those 6 records, inherent skill, was the most impossible to be tricked. She could tell if the other party was sincere or not. Even if it was a scheme that was half true and half false, it wouldn't be able to hide from her sensitive observation. Of course, in order to be fair, I have specially invited Mr. Qi Liao, who was born in the demon abyss but is a human warrior's friend. The Yu clan's descendants' blood is pure, completely different from the demon's blood. With Mr. Qi Liao as the standard, all the Yu clan's descendants' blood will be tested in the holy light purifying water bottle. Whoever has any abnormalities will be seen by everyone. Before the fake Yu Qiu finished speaking, Yu Yang had already understood everything. This was a very, very big plan. Blood test method was only the first step of the plan. Chapter 288. The blood test method was very simple. On a table, there were 3 bottles filled with holy light purified water. That demon innate rancor, Qi Liao, dripped his blood in the middle as a reference. Then, the fake Yu Qiu and his sons, second uncle Yu Ling, Yu Yan, Yu Feng, Yu Yang, Yu Yu, Yu Bing and the others randomly chose a bottle and dripped their blood into it. If the reaction was the same as the demon, then they were obviously not Yu clan's disciples. On the surface, this blood test seemed to be a normal procedure. It seemed to be very fair. However, as a guy from another world, Yu Yang knew that this kind of test was child's play. It would be too easy to tamper with it. The biggest flaw was why the fake Yu Qiu was so sure that Yu Yang, Yu Yu, Yu Bing and the others' blood would definitely have the same reaction as Qi Liao's demon blood. This invisible foresight was the biggest suspicious point. If he didn't cheat, how could he be sure that everyone who was not on his side was a demon? Couldn't a commoner's child come and pretend to be him? Why must he be a demon? If the demon innate rancor Qi Liao's demon blood could be used as a reference, didn't this mean that the fake Yu Qiu had already predicted that Yu Yang and the others' blood would have the same reaction as Qi Liao's demon blood? City Mistress Fallen Flowers and Princess Sisai looked at each other. They felt that the fake Yu Qiu must have done something, but they still couldn't understand the real reason. Since it's like this, let's participate in the test. Yu Yang made his decision. Avoiding the test would only give the enemy an excuse. Only by exposing their despicable and shameless tricks during the test would they be able to turn the situation around. Of course, Yu Yang felt that no matter what, they had to make a move today. The only difference was to let Xia Kingdom's heavenly imperial guardian, the ascetic practice saint, and Tian Luo Kingdom's heavenly imperial guardian, the middle-aged scholar, find a reason to help him. The innate demon Qi Liao strode forward, cut open his left palm with his sharp nails, and dripped demon blood drop by drop into the holy light water bottle. As the demon blood dripped down, the originally tranquil water in the holy light purifying water bottle suddenly began to tumble, as if there was an invisible monster swimming inside. Then, a large amount of heat was generated, and the holy water in the bottle was almost boiling. White steam was rising. Everyone clearly saw that fiend blood was incompatible with holy water. A single drop would cause it to boil. Next, the fake Yuchio stepped forward. He casually cut his finger with the dagger and dripped a drop of blood into the bottle on the left. There was no reaction other than a faint light rising from the bottle. The fake Yuchio had once again set a very good standard. He proved that the blood of the Yu clan's descendants did not have any evil reaction with the holy water. Even if there was a reaction, it would only emit a faint light. From the perspective of others, the fake Yuchio's bloodline was very pure. Next was the fake Yu Yang. He dripped a drop of blood into the bottle on the right. Similarly, there was only a faint glow. What did this mean? This meant that the holy water in all three bottles was the same. Choosing any one of them would not be a problem. Next, let's see the reaction of Yu Shan's son, Yu Tian. My big brother, Yu Shan, had already been killed by a demon 20 years ago. When I heard this news from the demon abyss, I decided that no matter what, I must live and return to the soaring dragon continent alive. This is because I cannot let the Yu clan fall into the hands of the demons. I cannot let the Yu clan be destroyed in the hands of our generation. Previously, when the elders and I were trying to capture the fake Yu Shan, a demon had appeared and saved him. Now I want to tell everyone the truth. The fake Yu Chio clapped his hands. The fake Yu Yang and Yu Yen dragged the limp Yu Tian out. Yu Bao used his silver dagger to cut a long wound on the back of Yu Tian's hand. Then, he dripped the blood from the dagger into the bottle on the left. Sizzle! The inside of the bottle immediately had the same reaction as when the demon innate rancor Qi Liao dripped his demon blood into the bottle. It immediately boiled and white steam rose. According to the test, there was no doubt that Yu Tian was a demon. Yu Tian's face turned pale as he fell to the ground, as if someone had pulled out his spine. Yu Yen, Yu Bao and even Yu Feng, the three Yu clan juniors dripped their blood into the bottles on the left and right respectively. All of them only had a faint reaction. Among them, Yu Feng's reaction was the strongest, followed by Yu Yan's. Yu Bao had almost no reaction at all. Everyone could clearly see that Yu Feng's potential was the greatest among the three. His reaction was the strongest. Looks like his bloodline energy had also continued to be the best. Yu Yen sneered at Yu Yang. Bastard, it's your turn now. Yu Yang looked at the sky from a 45-degree angle, completely ignoring this arrogant and despicable person who had achieved his goals. Isn't it just being a dog? It's really rare to see you so happy being a dog. Yu Yang can't be bothered with an idiot like you, but as the boss, I can't stand it anymore. Yu Yen, you idiot, come out if you have the guts. See if I don't beat you up. If you don't have the ability, just hide in your pants. Don't embarrass yourself. Do you really think you're a bird? Fatty Hai couldn't help but mock him. Fatty Hai, is your mother's skin itching for a beating? This is my family's matter. It has nothing to do with you. If you anger me, I will cut off your flesh and feed it to the dogs. Yu Yen flew into a rage. If Fatty Hai dared to say this a year ago, he would have already killed him. However, the Fatty Hai today was not someone that Yu Yen could touch whenever he wanted. Forget about Yu Yen, even Yen Pejun, one of the three great killing stars, couldn't do anything to Fatty Hai. If Yu Yen knew that Fatty Hai had just contracted a gold-ranked level 6 Thunder Mammoth, he would definitely not dare to challenge Fatty High. The fake Yu Yang acted like a future clan master and stopped Yu Yen. Fourth brother, why do you have to lower yourself to the same level as those bastards? In front of everyone's eyes, no matter how noisy they are, they won't be able to erase their demon bloodline. Yu Yu walked out, her silver teeth biting her red lips. She firmly said, I'm not a demon, I'm definitely not. I'm a holy water healing summoner. Yu Yu definitely didn't believe that she was a demon. She also didn't believe that her father was a demon. Although her father pursued power and always wanted to control the Yu clan, he couldn't be a demon. She had seen Yu Tian's test just now. Even if there was a reaction from his demon blood, she still didn't believe that her brother Yu Tian was a demon. The enemy must have done something to him. She knew that something was wrong, but she couldn't see any flaws. The only thing she could do was to use her own blood to prove her father's innocence. A healing summoner with a pure holy water attribute was also a demon? This, of course, was definitely impossible. Yu Yu confidently dripped her blood on the bottle on the left. At first, there was no reaction at all. But after a few seconds, the water in the bottle started to boil. It was boiling so fast that it almost overflowed. Impossible! Yu Yu was completely dumbfounded. She never thought that her blood would have the same reaction as the demon blood. In that instant, she felt as if her soul had been shattered. Was she a demon? Was she the daughter of her demon father? Was she the same as her big brother Yu Tian, a demon's descendant? Haha, let's see what else you have to say. Yu Yen laughed out loud. Yu Yu's whole body trembled as tears flowed down her face uncontrollably. She wanted to defend herself and refute, but her lips were trembling. She didn't have any evidence to prove herself. Yu Bing wanted to jump down from the horse carriage and hug her sister tightly, but Xue Wuxia waved her hand, hinting her not to go out. Inan pulled her even more tightly, afraid that she would do something that would affect Yu Yang. On the other hand, Princess Sisai was worried about her good friend. She immediately rushed out and hugged Yu Yu's trembling body, comforting her. Now, everyone's eyes were on Yu Yang. There was no meaning in proving that Yu Tian and Yu Yu were the demon's descendant. Only by proving that Yu Yang was a demon could this matter truly end. Would Yu Yang accept the test? First, there was Yu Tian and Yu Yan's comparison. Now, there was the reaction of Yu Yu's demon blood. Many people felt that Yu Yang would be foolishly tricked if he went up to take the test. It would only make him a demon. That was what Fatty Hai, Yi Kong and the others thought. Prince of Tianluo and Xue Tan Lang looked at each other and prepared to stop Yu Yang from taking the test. They had already understood that this was their enemy's trap. No matter if Yu Yang took the test or not, he would still fall into their trap. He wouldn't be able to escape from their enemy's trap. You don't have the guts to take the test? I've said it before, you are a bastard born from a demon. Yu Yen mocked him mercilessly. Shut up, you idiot. It's not your turn to speak here. Why would you stand out like an idiot and become someone else's lackey? Do you think that idiocy is gold? Do you think that stupidity can be used to make a living? Stay away from me, otherwise I will kill you instantly. Yu Yang glared at Yu Yang with his heaven eyes' divine vision. His aura exploded and sent Yu Yen flying. Yu Yen and Yu Bao were shocked to the ground by Yu Yang's gaze. They were so scared that they wanted to scold him, but they were afraid that Yu Yang would kill them instantly. They were very clear about Yu Yang's temper. This brat was unmoved by force or persuasion. His killing intent soared to the sky. In the entire Yu clan, other than the clan master Yu Hai, who gave him some face, and the fifth elder who protected the fourth branch, he didn't put anyone else in his eyes. If he wanted to beat them, he would beat them. When Yu Shan was still the substitute clan master, he had almost been killed by him. During the clan's New Year's tournament, Yu Yang acted as he pleased in front of the Dixia Emperor Jun Wuyu. He even stepped on the southern floating mist sect's elder. Knowing that Yu Yang was an innate, Yu Yen decided not to provoke him anymore. If it wasn't for Yu Qiu's return, the strong evidence in his hands, and the support of so many innates, Yu Yan wouldn't have dared to provoke Yu Yang. When the fake Yu Yang saw Yu Yang sending Yu Yan and Yu Bao flying with just his gaze turned cold. In the depths of his eyes, there was a hint of jealousy. In comparison, he, a level 6 advanced elder, couldn't even be compared to Yu Yang, who was an innate ranker. Yu Yang didn't care about Yu Yan anymore. He walked to the table leisurely. He first picked up the silver dagger and looked at it. He then sniffed it and threw it away. The fake Yu Qiu's gaze was filled with ridicule. Trying to find a flaw in the silver dagger? That was impossible. He knew that Yu Yang would be suspicious, but he believed that Yu Yang would never be able to see through the truth. This is the first time I heard that I'm a demon in my entire life. Yu Yang took out his Eye Destroyer's silver dagger and carefully made a small cut on his index finger. He squeezed out a drop of blood with great regret. It was just one drop. He kept his finger away reluctantly and sucked on it. Fatty Hai and the others came closer and stared at the bottle nervously. At first, there was no reaction from the bottle at all. Just as Fatty Hai and the others were about to relax, the bottle suddenly exploded. However, not even a single drop of water flowed out. Countless amounts of water boiled and turned into steam, twisting and rolling like a white demon soaring into the sky. Everyone was dumbfounded. Wasn't this reaction a little too exaggerated? This brat's blood was 100 times more evil than the demon innate rancor Qi Liao's blood. Could it be that this brat was a great demon king? As expected, Yu Yan screamed excitedly. Being able to prove that Yu Yang was a demon was better than anything else. Shut up, this young master hasn't finished testing yet. Yu Yang didn't tremble or feel uneasy. It was as if he thought that this was normal. His expression was as if he had never seen the bottle explode and the steam rise. Try again. You're also a demon. Yu Bao was so excited that his face turned red. He also hoped that Yu Yang would be unlucky. The two of you, come up here and drip some blood into the bottle on the right. Also, the two of you, try it too. Yu Yang signaled Lin Lei and Lin Miao to drip their blood onto the bottle. The fake Yu Qiu's expression changed. The fake Yu Yang even used the excuse that Lin Lei and Lin Miao were not Yu Clan's disciples and shouted for them to stop. Yu Yang laughed coldly. Not only them, you guys also have to test again. You want to play tricks in front of me? Do you think that your malformed brain can trick me? Hearing that Yu Yang had the confidence to expose him, Fatty Hai's confidence immediately increased. He was pleased. He took the initiative and dripped a few drops of blood onto the bottle on the right. In the end, unfortunately, his blood had a demon reaction. Fatty Hai was stunned for a moment before bursting into laughter. So it's not only the Yu clan's disciples, the Hai clan's blood is also tainted with the demon's blood. Haha, this blood test, are you trying to make me laugh to death? Yi Kong's blood had a demon reaction. The trembling Lin Lei and Lin Miao's blood also had a demon reaction. The Li brothers' blood had a demon reaction. Prince of Tian Luo and Xue Tan Lang's blood all had a demon reaction. At first, Yu Yan wanted to refute that they were all accomplices, but when Princess Sisai came out and dripped a drop of blood, the demon reaction was extremely intense. He was immediately speechless. He couldn't possibly say that Princess Sisai also had a demon's blood. Her father was Jun Wuyu. If he said that Jun Wuyu was cuckolded, then Jun Wuyu would definitely go crazy and start a massacre. What made everyone dumbfounded was that Yu Yang dripped another drop of blood onto the bottle in the middle. In the end, the light exploded. It was extremely beautiful, and there was even a faint rainbow. This kind of test result formed a strong contrast with Qi Liao's demon blood reaction. Yu Yang used the Eye Destroyer dagger and made a small cut on Hui Tai Lang's body. He stretched his hand into the bottle to check. Immediately, the demon blood reacted again. My dog grew up eating the demon king's meat. It is an iron-backed demonic wolf with the dark fire attribute. After testing, Its blood's reaction is the same as Mr. Qi Liao's blood. When Yu Yang said this, Fatty Hai and the others burst into laughter. This was because Yu Yang was implying that Qi Liao was a dog. Demon innate rancor Qi Liao could obviously hear it. His expression changed as he stared angrily at Yu Yang. Yu Yang ignored him and pointed at the fake Yu Qiu, fake Yu Yang and Yu Yen. Please come up and do a test. If your blood's reaction is the same as my dog's, then I'm sorry, but I want you to explain in front of everyone why your blood is the same as my dog's. Aren't you all pure-blooded Yu Clan disciples? Yu Clan young masters, what are you waiting for? Come up and do the test. Everyone will soon see who is the real demon, who is the real Yu Clan disciple. Fake Yu Qiu and fake Yu Yang were stunned on the spot. They knew that Yu Yang would not admit defeat, but they never thought that this brat's counterattack would be so sharp. How could they refuse in front of everyone's eyes? If it was really a test, how could it be hidden from so many innate rancors' eyes? Chapter 289. The fake Yu Yang on the other side had a gloomy expression on his face, and he didn't say a word. Yu Yen looked at his surroundings and realized that no one dared to stand out. He angrily shouted, "I'll do it. Even if you, a trash, are playing tricks, I won't be afraid. Get lost." Yu Yang stared at him coldly. What did you say? Yu Yen was curious. Didn't this abnormal trash want to take the test himself? I said you're an idiot. Did I let an idiot like you take the test? If no one stepped forward, why did you step forward? Do you think your low IQ isn't embarrassing enough? Do you want to be even more embarrassing? Yu Yang slapped Yu Yan's face, causing the Yu Clan's fourth young master to become dizzy and fall to the ground. Yu Yang pointed at Yu Bao and the fake Yu Yang. His voice was as cold as ice. Both of you, come up and take the test. Now, the people were starting to see the trick. He reckoned that the Yu Clan's third young master had some kind of ability to see through his enemy's bloodline. Although Yu Yen had caused him to dislike him, he did not suspect Yu Yen. He only suspected Yu Bao and the others. Only one of the Yu Clan's third young master was real. The Yu Clan's third young master on Yu Qiu's side, no matter if he was real or fake, he would definitely have to be tested. However, why did Yu Yang still want Yu Bao to take the test? Could it be that there was something wrong with Yu Bao? Everyone was surprised and looked at Yu Bao, only to realize that his face was deathly pale. Under Yu Yang's cold, death-like stare, Yu Bao's body trembled unnaturally, as if he was suppressing some sort of fear. Yu Bao looked at the fake Yu Qiu from time to time, as if he was hoping that the fake Yu Qiu would open his mouth to help him. The fake Yu Qiu couldn't even protect himself, so he naturally wouldn't care about him. The fake Yu Yang wanted to speak up, but the fake Yu Qiu immediately winked at him, hinting that it wasn't the right time to speak up and help Yu Bao. Yu Bao panicked and screamed, "I am a disciple of the Yu Clan, I cannot be doubted. I have tested myself just now, I don't need to test myself anymore, I won't test myself anymore. He is a demon, everyone, don't believe him." Grey Wolf pounced out from beside Yu Yang. He easily pushed Yu Bao down. Yu Bao was dragged to Yu Yang's feet as fast as lightning. Fatty Hai and Yi Kong cooperated very well. One of them pressed Yu Bao down, while the other used his silver dagger to cut Yu Bao's arm. The silver dagger poked into the bottle in the middle, and the demon's reaction appeared. Although it was very slight, everyone could clearly see that this Yu Bao's test was completely different from the previous one. Was he not Yu Ling's son? No, that's not right. I'm a disciple of the Yu Clan, I'm not a demon. It's all your fault. Yu Bao was so scared that he started crying loudly. You don't have the qualifications to become a demon. Tell me about the dark energy hidden in your body. Who gave it to you? Whose beast did you subdue? What did they do as that person said? Yu Yang interrogated Yu Bao coldly. Yu Bao's father, Yu Ling, originally wanted to come out, but when he saw his youngest son, Yu Feng, trembling in fear, He sighed softly and hugged Yu Feng tightly, refusing to look at Yu Bao again. Yu Ling was not an idiot. He could see a lot of things, but he couldn't open his mouth. In order to protect himself, his wife and his youngest son, Yu Feng, he could only choose to remain silent. Everything was done by fourth brother. Yu Bao clenched his teeth and pointed at Yu Yen, shouting loudly. What? Yu Yen was dumbfounded. Why was he being blamed? Fourth brother said that no matter what, he had to kill you. He told me to cooperate with him, and even said that if I had evidence, I would definitely be able to destroy you. I only ended up like this because I listened to him. This blood test was also fourth brother's idea. Everything was done by him. Yu Bao cried loudly. Yu Yen looked around in despair. Right now, no matter if it was the fake Yu Qiu or Yu Yang, both sides were his enemies. Yu Yen realized that he had been completely isolated. His companions, whom he thought was trustworthy, had abandoned him without hesitation. They had even pushed the blame onto him. At this moment, even his father didn't dare to speak up for him. It was only at this moment that Yu Yen realized that he was actually someone else's abandoned chess piece. A chess piece that could be abandoned at any time. He had once naively wanted to topple Yu Yang and step on this enemy of his that he hated for his entire life. He didn't care if it was right or wrong, he just wanted to destroy Yu Yang at all costs. In the end, he realized how ridiculous his plan was. It turned out that the thing that he relied on the most was just someone else's bait. Because of his revenge, he had become someone else's pawn. Furthermore, he had become a tragic pawn. When Yu Yen turned around and saw the mocking gaze of the other Yu clan third young master, this kind of heartlessness deeply pierced his heart. This man who had been manipulating him from behind was not even comparable to that abnormal trash. At least that abnormal trash had admitted that he was a Yu clan disciple. He didn't even need to be tested to admit that he was a Yu clan disciple. On the other hand, this fake Yu Yang who had returned from the demon abyss had heartlessly abandoned him when he needed help the most. Yu Yen was filled with hatred and regret, sorrow and anger. He painfully roared, "Die, let's die together." Yu Yen didn't charge towards Yu Yang. Instead, he charged towards the fake Yu Yang. Boom. He, who was in a state of panic and anger, was not a match for the fake Yu Yang at all. Forget about this kind of frenzied state. Even if it was under normal circumstances, Yu Yen wouldn't be able to defeat the fake level 6 advanced Yu Yang. With just one punch, Yu Yen was sent flying and fell onto the ground. His sternum was broken, and he vomited a lot of blood. Dying, he struggled for a while and tried his best to get up. In the end, he fainted due to his heavy injuries. He collapsed onto the ground, fresh blood flowing out of his mouth. His mind was in a daze and he lost consciousness. Yu Yang clapped his hands and praised, "Good hit, good hit, good hit! How should I address this impostor who impersonated me? Don't think that you can impersonate me just because you look like me. Yu Bing, tell this idiot what your brother's inherent skill is." When Yu Bing heard that it was finally her turn, she nodded excitedly. She took a deep breath and suppressed her nervousness, trying her best to make her voice not tremble because of her excitement. "Listen, all kinds of tricks are useless against my brother. This is because my brother's inherent skill is concealment. He can discover other people's hidden secret. Whatever secrets you guys have, my brother already knows it." When Yu Bing said this, everyone sweated profusely. This brat actually had such an abnormal inherent skill. No wonder he could easily see through such a clever blood test. This brat's inherent skill was an inherent skill that specialized in discovering secrets. When Fatty Hai heard this, he quickly distanced himself from Yu Yang. He was afraid that his secret would be discovered by Yu Yang. "Don't stand so far away, I'm not interested in your secret of wearing flowery underwear." Yu Yang sent this fatty flying with a kick. When everyone saw this, they sweated even more profusely. No wonder they said that the Yu clan's third young master was abnormal. It turned out that he had such a secret, inherent skill. He could discover other people's secrets and weaknesses. Lower your voice, lower your voice. Fatty Hai jumped up and tried to cover Yu Yang's mouth in exasperation. This kind of futile action made Yi Kong and the others laugh until tears flowed down their cheeks. I think everyone has more or less understood the situation. In other words, you guys are a thief crying thief. You guys are demons, but you guys are like dogs trying to bite back. As the righteous Yu clan's third young master, I hereby issue an order. From now on, all Yu clan's disciples, no matter if they are direct descendants or branch descendants, or even outsiders, must immediately leave the fake Yu Qiu's group. Otherwise, they will be treated as traitors. The fake Yu Qiu and the fake Yu Yang are the main culprits who plotted to take over the Yu clan. Surrender immediately, otherwise they will be killed. As for those scoundrels who helped them, such as the great emperor of Ziwei Shun Tian and the demon innate rancor Qi Liao, get lost immediately. Otherwise, they will be treated as enemies who invaded the Yu clan. Tian Quan of the Seven Great Bears is the fake Yu Yang's master. Immediately cut off one of your arms and announce that you have severed all ties with the fake Yu Yang before you can leave. What about us? The two heavenly imperial guardians from Zijin Kingdom stood up and asked coldly. If you guys want to stay, I will reserve a place for you guys in the cemetery behind the mountain. How about letting my Hui Tai Lang have a good meal and send you guys on your way? Yu Yang knew that it was time to turn hostile. Great Emperor of Ziwei, I'm sorry. You guys are in the wrong. If you can't prove that Yu Qiu is real, we will choose to believe Yu Yang's words. Yu Yang, as the Yu clan's legitimate heir, has the right to expel you guys. Even if you guys are innates, you can't help the evildoer. The ascetic practice saint stood up and firmly supported Yu Yang. The fake Yu Qiu and the fake Yu Yang are suspected to be demons. Please prove your real identities immediately. Otherwise, I will see you guys as demons. The middle-aged scholarly Tian Luo heavenly imperial guardians also stood up and shouted sternly. The two heavenly imperial guardians from Zijin Kingdom walked over in big strides. The middle-aged scholarly heavenly imperial guardian's expression changed as he scolded angrily. If the two of you dare to help them, it means that Zijin Kingdom is declaring war against Tian Luo and Xia Kingdom. We are only reminding you that someone has opened the passage to the demon abyss in Tian Luo and Xia Kingdom. Hundreds of thousands of demons are pouring out continuously, devouring the citizens of the kingdom. They are even approaching the royal palaces of the two kingdoms. As heavenly imperial guardians, I believe that you guys will not just stand by and watch, right? The slightly shorter one of the two heavenly imperial guardians from Zijin Kingdom laughed coldly. Do you know why we made a blood test? It's to stall the two of you. Your state grandmaster has already led a team to the Eastern Goblin tribe. The Night Empress is not here, and the two of you are here. The kingdom is empty without anyone guarding it. Who can you blame? You can only blame yourselves for being nosy. I understand. The ascetic practice saint suppressed the anger in his heart and nodded. Before I rush back to destroy the demon army, I will slaughter the two of you as a sacrifice to my citizens. With just the two of you? The taller one of the two heavenly imperial guardians from Zijin Kingdom laughed loudly. Our powers are about the same. It would be difficult to determine the victor within 1,000 moves. You two actually dare to speak such arrogant words? Ascetic practice saint, if you are old and forgetful, I would like to remind you that other than the Emperor of Ziwei, there are two more innates on our side, me and Tian Quan. Demon innate Qi Liao pointed at the ascetic practice saint beast. Actually, I have wanted to kill the two of you for a very long time. Your heavenly imperial guardians from Xia and Tian Luo have a close relationship and have always been in contact with each other. We have waited for a very long time before we have the chance today. This is really a heaven-sent opportunity. Little Yu Yang, you guys can leave. The ascetic practice saint suddenly turned his head and looked at Yu Yang. If there is a chance in the future, take revenge for us. Since I am already here, I have never thought of going back. Yu Yang shook his head and pointed at the Yu clan castle. He gave an order to Fatty Hai and Yi Kong. There should be a huge teleportation circle inside. The enemies will sacrifice their lives there. Your mission is to attack the Yu clan castle and destroy the teleportation circle. Understood. Do you have any other orders? Destroying the teleportation circle is too easy. Fatty Hai rubbed his palms together, his fighting spirit boundless. He didn't need to fight the innate. He felt that with his current strength, he should be able to charge straight in. When Yu Yang heard this, he smiled slightly. Then after you destroy the teleportation circle, please kick back the blood prison demon king that might have already crawled out. When Fatty Hai heard this, he was so scared that his hair stood on end. He immediately roared, bypassing the innate rankers and ran towards the Yu clan castle. Of course, Yi Kong, Prince of Tian Luo and Xue Tanlang, were even faster than him. The Li brothers behind them also ran. In the sky, the 100 transformations demon elder, the fake Yu Qiu and the fake Yu Yang and the other enemy rankers chased after them. Before the fake Yu Qiu left, he looked at Yu Yang, his eyes filled with pride. Maybe this plan was carried out by him. Even if Yu Yang saw through it, it would be useless. That was why he felt so proud. The winner was the king, the loser was the bandit. As long as they killed Yu Yang, the ascetic practice saint and the others in this battle, would anyone in this world know the truth? Only the Marquis of Zijin and the great emperor of Ziwei, Shun Tian, frowned at the same time. Both of them felt that since Yu Yang saw through their plan, he wouldn't go according to their plan so smoothly. Just now when he exposed the blood test, if it was to strengthen the ascetic practice saint and the scholar's confidence and seek their help, then what about now? He clearly knew that he couldn't do it, so why did he still attack the Yu clan castle? Furthermore, he wasn't even surprised at all. Even in the face of such an overwhelming situation, he still looked as if he had a card up his sleeve. Was he pretending to be so calm? Or did he really have the confidence to turn the situation around? Impatience had been resting in the horse carriage just now, as if she was catching up on her beauty sleep. Only now, when everyone was ready to take action, did she leisurely walk out, smiling alluringly. Aya, it seems like a fight is about to break out. I haven't seen an innate battle for a long time. I want to participate too. Sect leader Duan Mu, who has been hiding in the corner and eating everyone's farts, I didn't expect you to have such a special hobby. Are you really not going to come out and greet everyone? The space seemed to be distorted by something, but it returned to normal immediately. A middle-aged man with a high crown and crane robe descended from the sky, appearing in front of everyone. Impatience introduced him to Yu Yang. This immortal-like innate is called Duan Mu Long Qing. He was the sect leader of the Green Summit sect back then. Oh right, that Machi Su Ling you just killed was his vice-sect leader. Be careful, he might cause trouble for you. Just nice, let's settle the 1,000 years of debt between the Green Summit sect and the Yu clan. Yu Yang nodded. Be careful. Xue Wuxia personally carried Yu Bing, Princess Sisai carried Yu Yu, and Fallen Flower's city mistress pulled Anan along as they prepared to leave for the Yu clan castle. If they stayed here, they wouldn't be able to display their full strength. Their goal was to destroy the teleportation circle and cut off the enemy's reinforcement. The Marquis of Zijin looked at Yu Yang and waved his hand with a serious expression. He led the elite guards disguised as the Zijin Kingdom's army to stop Xue Wuxia and the others. In the Marquis of Zijin's heart, the most terrifying enemy was Yu Yang, the second was the Impatience, and the third was not the ascetic practice saint and the others, but the mysterious female thief who had made him suffer a great loss before. He could recognize her at first glance, and also knew her identity at the same time. Miss Xue clan. Second uncle Yu Ling also looked at Yu Yang. He didn't say anything, only carrying his heavily injured son, Yu Yen, away and bringing his other youngest son, Yu Feng. It seemed that no matter who was right or wrong, he wasn't prepared to participate in this life and death battle. The Yu clan couldn't be without a successor. He would rather bear the name of a coward and preserve the bloodline of the Yu clan. Otherwise, the entire Yu clan would be annihilated. I'll leave the great emperor of Zi Wei to you. Leave this sect leader Duan Mu, Tian Quan and Qi Liao to me. Before the battle, Yu Yang didn't forget to take advantage of her. He hugged impatience tightly and buried his face in her cleavage. He sighed with infinite satisfaction. If I could hug you like this every time I fight, I'd rather fight every day. Why don't you ask me how I feel? Don't lick, hey, don't drool. Impatience suddenly felt that something was wrong and screamed. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.